to talk. Welcome one and all. We've got a lot to cover. Of course, we're going to talk about the return of Jimmy Kimmel, which is like the fakest crap I've ever seen. I mean, it's amazing to me. The left are, I'm going to talk about this when the show begins, but the liberals are so desperate for heroes. They've taken this low talent, mediocre guy, Jimmy Kimmel, and our guy just got assassinated, right? And they've taken this no talent, Jimmy Kimmel, and they're trying to make him into a martyr. The whole story's fake. It was a publicity stunt. And he wasn't taken off the air by Trump. He wasn't taken off the air by the FCC. He was taken off the air because, well, that's what you do when something like this happens, which I'm going to go through. Now, I'm going to play a lot of audio and video, guys. Remember, you're going to want to go to the main stream to catch all the audio and video. I'm going to put a link in the description right now. And I'm going to start that stream in just a minute. And at the main stream is where you're going to find all the audio and video and everything. You can see all that. All the production values from the green screen. When you see the green behind me, you're getting a behind the scenes look. Okay, just doing a mic check, and okay, there we go. Yeah, the link is in the description to the main stream, and if you go there, I'm going to start that in just a moment. You can see and hear all the audio I'm going to play. And we will take calls as well. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's set. Got that going. The coffee ready. All right. So I'm going to start the mainstream now. Like I said, if you want to see the audio and video that I play, you're going to want to go to the main live stream. Here you'll see and hear me, obviously, and see and hear the callers. But to see the audio and video and all that I play, and hear the audio that I play, you have to go to the mainstream, which is starting right now. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. You know, I cannot, for the life of me, believe how stupid so many people are that they have fallen for this weak, obvious, pathetic publicity stunt by Jimmy Kimmel, ABC, and Disney. Jimmy Kimmel was not taken off the air by Trump. He was not taken off the air by the FCC. Yeah, they commented on it, but they didn't do anything. They rendered some opinions. He was taken off the air by ABC. They took Jimmy Kimmel off the air, okay? And not only did they take him off the air, they put him back on the air. And the left, they got nothing, right? They got Gavin Newsom, they got Jasmine Crockett, they got AOC, they got nothing. And they're desperate for heroes, okay? They're desperate for heroes. So they've created this fake news publicity stunt scandal with Jimmy Kimmel, and they've turned that into he is some type of hero of free speech. He's standing up to the Trump, not standing up to Trump or the FCC. Big publicity stunt. And people are falling for it. And a lot of them are knowingly falling for it because they want to have a hero so bad. So Yesterday, we had one of the Trump assassins, the one who survived, was convicted and found guilty on all counts for the attempted assassination of President Trump at the golf course here in Florida. 2 weeks ago today, the number 2 person in the entire MAGA movement, Charlie Kirk, was assassinated by a liberal Democrat. And they want you to think that the hero is Jimmy Kimmel, who was taken off the air by his own employer, probably by his own design and plan with his agents and managers and producers as a publicity stunt to prop up his failing show so he didn't get canned like Colbert? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's how desperate you are? Why aren't you running for president in 2028? Why don't you guys do that? I did watch his monologue. I'm going to play one clip of it. I did watch Jimmy Kimmel's monologue, and I was not impressed. You know, he's going out there to a liberal mob who he could have gone out there and just stood there and waved, and they would have applauded him for standing up to Trump. You know, this is Trump derangement syndrome times infinity. So we're going to talk about that a bit in the beginning. And, you know, he was taken off the air by ABC because there was the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And they made this publicity stunt that they turned into. That now, the stations that didn't carry Jimmy Kimmel last night, those Next Star Sinclair stations that didn't carry him last week, right? Now, that may have been organic. So what Jimmy Kimmel did, and remember, and his management and ABC and Disney did, is they took that and then they crafted this political stunt. And the fake news media are very happy to go along with it. Welcome to the program. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, to see and hear the audio and video that I play, to get the full effects of everything that I do on the show, you need to go to my main live stream, which is also on my YouTube channel. The link to the main live stream is in the description of the video with the green behind me, guys. So if you go there, you can get all of that, okay? So make sure that you do that, because in a moment I'm going to start playing some of the audio. You won't want to miss it. The link's in the description. It'll take you directly, instantaneously to the main stream. All right, so, you know, so that may have been organic with those affiliates. But then Jimmy Kimmel and his team came up with this plan to take that negative and turn it into a positive to save the show. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily wrong for somebody in the entertainment industry to pull a publicity stunt, but it's so obvious. You know, the media, Hollywood, do nothing but publicity stunts. I give an example. This one just popped in my mind because I saw something online about J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez. Do you guys remember how J-Lo became famous? What made her famous? Jennifer Lopez. Remember what made her famous? The Selena movie, right? And Selena, when they were casting Selena, the studio, do you remember how they cast, or so went the story of how they cast Jennifer Lopez? She wasn't J-Lo yet. Remember what happened? The studio that was producing Selena was not that famous outside the Spanish-speaking community, all right? She really wasn't that one. She was a little more famous because of the tragic incidents with her fan club president and everything that happened. But she didn't have a fan base among English-speaking people. So what they did, so they weren't sure how successful the movie was. So what they did is they went to the shopping malls of America, before the malls were dying, of course. They went to the shopping malls of America and did casting calls all over, from sea to shining sea, to find the actress who was going to play Selena. That was all BS, okay? Big publicity stunt to create hype for the movie. In malls all over the place. And they, you know, Jennifer Lopez was not cast by showing up at a casting call at some local shopping mall. Hollywood, of which Jimmy Kimmel's a part of, they do nothing but publicity stunts and fake news. That's part of Hollywood. This one, though, has moved into the realm of politics. And maybe it'll save his show. At least prolong it for a while. Who knows? I don't care. I'm not into late night television. I don't care. But I don't like the media with their fake narratives lying to us. So the way this went down is those local affiliates, and it's a lot of stations, like over 100 stations between the two companies, right? They weren't going to air him because he did a twisted monologue where he was suggesting that a MAGA person actually was the assassin. And that upsets a lot of people after a tragedy, after an assassination. And there's a long history after tragedy. Certain things happen. I had talked about a couple weeks ago when Charlie Kirk was first assassinated by this Democrat, that Steve Kane, long ago, he produced a national radio and television show in 1963, the Joe Pine Show. And he was a strong anti-Kennedy Republican. And then Kennedy got shot in Dallas. They took the show off the air for a month, radio, and because they thought people would blame him for the assassination because he was so anti-Kennedy. It was in bad taste, they thought. So they took him off the air for a month. And then they brought him back and everything was fine, like nothing had happened. So when a tragedy like this happens, and you've got someone whose entire living is out of bashing the MAGA movement, it makes sense that you don't want to air them. It's insensitive and offensive to your audience. So it's very likely that it was organic with those local corporate-owned affiliates, over 100 of them. So ABC and Jimmy Kimmel, they took that tragedy and boom, went into overdrive and came up with this publicity stunt. That's it. This was a publicity stunt. He wasn't censored by Trump, and he wasn't censored by the FCC. If he was taken off the air by Trump and the FCC, what action did they take to put him? Back on? Missed that from the story, didn't you? And I just, so much of what I do is, and Hannity has talked about this over the years, a lot of what we do is combating liberal media bias. And in this case, this is just an outright lie. There was no censorship by the government or a government agency or the president, who is the government. But everyone's talking as if it was. So I want to play one clip. If you have any thoughts on this, you're welcome to call in. The number is pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. The number's pinned in the live chat. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you're watching. So then he pretended to cry. In my opinion, pretended to cry. I want to play this clip. This is the only clip I'm going to play of Jimmy Kimmel. This is him making reference to Charlie Kirk. And I want to ask you to call in and let me know, is this fake or is this real crying on Jimmy Kimmel's part? If you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, to see the video, you got to go to my main stream, and to hear the audio, you got to go to my main stream. The main live stream is linked in the description of that episode. So click that link and it'll immediately take you to my main stream right here on YouTube. And if you're new to the program, make sure you subscribe. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. So I'm going to play this. Let me know, is this real crying, or is Jimmy Kimmel acting? Hear the crying. The other side. Oh, okay. Well, what a courageous stand coming out against violence. Well, maybe it is a courageous and unique stand in liberal circles. So is that real or is it fake? I believe it's fake. I don't think he has any sympathy for Charlie Kirk. He has no sympathy for MAGA. If any, now just as my opinion, yours are welcome. But if any of those tears are real, it's him worried about himself. Okay, not Charlie Kirk, not the MAGA movement. I mean, I want you to think about it. 2 weeks ago today, the number 2 person in the MAGA movement, Charlie Kirk, was brutally assassinated in front of the world. Yesterday, there were a couple things. A Trump assassin right here in Florida was convicted on all counts. Lunatic, right? Convicted on all counts, tried to assassinate the president. And there very well may have been an attempt on the president at the UN yesterday with the escalator. That needs to be investigated as an attempt on the president because it very well could have been. You know, when President Trump and Melania got on the UN escalator and it started moving, someone turned it off and stopped it. That was not an accident. And I've never seen that happen before. And then after that, remember, his teleprompter went out. So there were 2 acting out incidents at the UN. In fact, the UN should be shut down, and there should, as after what they did. That was an attack by the United Nations on the President of the United States, which is an attack on our country. Taking a prime real estate in our nation, we're basically fund the entire UN ourselves, and they did that. And, when you're on an escalator and it's moving and it stops instantly, you could easily fall. Escalators, the stairs are typically made of metal. If the president and first lady would have fallen, the president could have hit his head and been killed yesterday on that escalator at the UN. So whoever shut that escalator down needs to be arrested if Pam Bondi's up to arresting anyone. They need to be arrested and investigated and find out what happened. There was obviously some type of coordinated sabotage of President Trump yesterday because not only did the escalator stop, his teleprompter went off in the middle of his speech. They were trying to embarrass him. First, they tried to injure him, maybe even kill him with the escalator shutting down. Second, the teleprompter went out to try to make him look like a fool, but he talks off the top of his head all the time in rally speech after rally speech. So that to me shows a conspiracy against President Trump. And I'll tell you another thing, that big telecom bust that the feds made in New York, where they were attempting to hijack the information on the cell phones of those in attendance. So there was some type of international cyber attack that was busted at the UN, possibly an assassination attempt on the president with the escalator, and then sabotage with the teleprompter. Between the teleprompter and the escalator, that's a conspiracy. What would happen if you were on an escalator, it stopped instantly without you realizing it, and you fell and hit your head on that metal step, the edge of that metal step? Could you not be killed? In the very least, you could be severely injured. And the president, he has his vest on and everything, his armored vest, and his suit mate. The president has a bulletproof vest on. Remember, these liberals, they shot him last year. Then they tried to do it again. And 2 weeks ago today, they shot Charlie Kirk. So he's got a bulletproof vest on. And sometimes the suits that the president wears are also Kevlar lined. So for him to fall, he's got the weight of possibly the Kevlar lined suit, but the bulletproof vest he's got on underneath. And you come down like that and you hit your head on that metal step, you could be in big, big trouble. As far as I'm concerned, that was an attempted assassination on the president. Do you agree with that? Or do you think that's too far? I don't think so. I don't think it's too far at all. And the media are circling their wagons around Jimmy Kimmel like he's some type of hero of America. What are they talking about? You know, you look at what our president has gone through. You look at what MAGA has gone through. Look at George Santos. I was sharing with you yesterday. He has been in solitary confinement for 30 days for some really minor white-collar crimes. His water is from the sink in his cell. He's not taken outside. He's given 3 showers a week. He's been completely alone. There's no window on his cell. He's being tortured right now. George Santos is being tortured in a federal prison somewhere. Marjorie Taylor Greene's calling for the president to commute his sentence. I hope he does. Why is George Santos being tortured in prison? You know why? Because he's gay MAGA. And because he's gay MAGA, they are punishing him in that prison. And he needs to be rescued by the president. I hope the president has heard about this and does something about it. Now, I want to remind you guys, you know, the extra time that I'm doing, I've expanded the show to an hour. I've also continued the show during the commercial breaks on the radio, my afternoon show, as well as my weekend shows. All of this extra content and programming is brought to you by Mike Lindell at MyPillow. So make sure you go to mypillow.com and use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and buy something. And let Mike Lindell know that you're supporting me by supporting him with the promo code Kane. You can use my promo code Kane at checkout on all the items at mypillow.com, not just the ones that I talk about. So go to mypillow.com and use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Also, the free shipping offer on orders of $100 or more is still in effect. All right, so take advantage of that. And as I said, you can take advantage of all the specials at mypillow.com with my promo code Kane at checkout, not just the ones that I talk about. So, you know, the left, and this is not new with the liberals. They've always been this way. They are just plain evil. Evil. The attack on the president yesterday at the UN. That when I saw that with the escalator, I was fuming. I was fuming. Weren't you? Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the teleprompter. I was furious because I realized what had happened and the danger of it. How many of you have ever fallen? You hear me talk about Dr. Appleton. He's rid me of pain 6 times. 4 or 5 of those times are from falls I've taken. Right? You know, and falls, especially as you get older, they hurt, and it takes longer to recover from a fall when you're older. So no, I am now. Caroline Leavitt and Pam Bondi have both said that this is being investigated by the Secret Service, the escalator event. But it not only does it need to be investigated, there need to be arrests made. Let me see if I can pull up the video. I played it on the podcast yesterday. I mean, this is how the liberals operate, right? I mean, they're just very, very twisted people. Okay, yeah, here it is. Let me pull this up. Again, if you're watching on the live stream with the green screen, if you go to my main stream, you can see all the audio and video that I share, hear all the sound bites and everything else. The link to that feed, my main stream, is in the description of the video. It'll take you instantly there. It's here on YouTube. See, watch this. This was, let me know, yes or no. Was this an attempted assassination of the President of the United States? Watch, they're going to get on now. Watch this. Boom, it's moving pretty fast too. And then boom. Boom. Soon as they stepped on, and there he is standing there. And what would have happened if it would have started moving spontaneously while they're all the way up it? Yeah, he handled it, and he made a comment about it. But believe me, he's pissed. I mean, I've never seen that, and this isn't just an attack on the president. This is an attack on our country. You know, everything we've done for the United Nations. Caroline Levitt went on Jesse Waters last night. Let me share this with you. Here she is. Mm-hmm. Hear that? Wow. So there's a Secret Service investigation going on, and if they're Americans, you never know at the UN who's running these things. And shutting down the escalator, I mean, that you would have to either shut down there must be a main power switch somewhere. It's obviously not someone that's there physically at the escalator, right? There's emergency cutoff switches on escalators, like behind like a little glass window kind of thing. I've seen those many, many times. That's not what happened here. Someone somewhere else in the building did this, and they had to be watching because or communicating with someone. Either they were watching or communicating with someone, because as soon as he and the First Lady were both on the escalator and it started to move, boom, they stopped it. And that jerked back. That could have been it. And then we found out here at the end from Katie Pavlich that they had also monkeyed around with his microphone. Now, it sounded fine for us watching on television and online, but in the actual UN chamber, the microphone was turned down lower than for the other speakers that nobody cared about from these third-rate countries that aren't players in the world. So we've got the escalator, the teleprompter, and the microphone. That is a conspiracy. I mean, you know, what has this man done that you dislike so much on the left? I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. The number's toll free. It's pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Sydney from Montana. And
hey,
I'm
Sydney.
calling in regards, of course, to the escalator situation.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so I don't know if it was an assassination attempt. That might be, but I certainly believe, obvious it was done on purpose, but that it was, if anything, to trip him up.
Well, if you do something that results in someone's death and it's not intentional, that's manslaughter.
Absolutely.
So,
I do believe somebody should be accounted for. I'm getting a little tired of Secret Service investigating things after they happen. Didn't we used to have like the best? Do you see what I mean?
No, I think that's been a myth.
Look into that.
I think there's been a lot of hype. I think the Secret Service sucks. Trump got shot, Reagan got shot, Kennedy got shot. There were multiple assassination attempts on Gerald Ford. Was it Squeaky Frome?
Yeah.
There were at least 2 on Gerald Ford, maybe 3. I can't remember off the top of my head. One of them was a woman. She got right in front of him with a pistol. President Ford.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
That's right.
The Secret Service sucks.
Forgot
Yeah.
that. True. But, I mean, the escalator, come on. But I do wonder if it was one of those, Biden moments, like, look at you tripping up and down the stairs.
But see, here's the thing. We had three things: the escalator, the teleprompter, and the mic fail. All three fails. Come on.
True. It was definitely to humiliate him, or try to. Mm-hmm. And, of course, they stood proud and walked up the stairs. And Melania, to your point, is wearing, like, 6-inch heels. Mm-hmm. So that would be very dangerous for her to take a little stumble.
She could have fallen. If she would have fallen back, she would have fallen on the president. They both could have been killed. The president could, escalators are dangerous. The steps are made out of maybe steel, and they're very sharp. And if you fell backwards, anyone of any age, and hit the back of your head, which is a weak area, you could be dead in a second.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You're right.
All right. It's really upsetting. People think it's funny. Why would that be funny?
Right. No. And why? I wish it would stop. And that's the part that I don't get. You watch this stuff, and I have a lot of left-leaning friends. Love them dearly. I don't get that kind of support. I don't get to talk about things. I didn't get to talk about things when Obama was president, and then I got to be quiet because Trump's president. I'm happy about it, and then I'm not supposed to say anything because Biden's president. And now we're talking, and I love that, and I like that more of us are coming out. Mm-hmm. And the martyrdom of poor Charlie, his voice is still ringing, and it's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Well, I appreciate the call.
We got to watch your president.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right, you take care. No, I'm sorry. And to do this 2 weeks after the liberal Democrat assassinated Charlie Kirk. On the same day that the Trump golf course assassin is convicted on all counts for his attempted assassination of the president. These people will never stop. President Trump is going to be dealing with this for the rest of his life. They will never leave him alone. They'll never leave him alone. If you're new to the channel and you've just subscribed, welcome to the program. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'm a live radio host, I guess YouTuber, right, and podcaster, and I'll be live on the radio in about 10 or 12 minutes. This is kind of the pre-show for the radio. I live stream when I'm on the radio. Anytime I'm live streaming from the studio, I'm taking phone calls that are completely unscreened and unvetted. The number's pinned in the live chat. And remember, those of you watching with the green screen behind me, if you go to my main live stream here on YouTube, you get all the effects of the green screen, all the production from it. You get to see and hear the audio and video and the articles that I cover. That's on the main stream, and there's a direct link in the description of the episode that'll take you immediately to the main live stream, so you can jump over there. Now, the Trump derangement syndrome, it's not funny. If this would have happened to Biden or Obama, I'd be just as upset. I would, because this is, it's an attack on our country to do something like this. They're attempting, this was the United Nations acting out. Over what? Who knows? The tariffs? Who knows? But they were certainly acting out. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. I love the show. I'm excited to let you know that the investigation has been concluded, that Donald Trump's videographer is on tape tripping the escalator. So I love how much you guys are professional victims.
Where's that at? I'll look it up right now. Show me where, because Caroline Leavitt was on Fox last night. Show me where can I find that?
That was this morning.
Tell me where to look for it. I'll look it up right now.
Google it.
Google what? What do you want me to Google? Tell me what to Google.
Google Trump escalator at the UN, and it'll tell you right in the synopsis. Like, everyone's reporting it right now.
Hold on. Well, if it was, he should be arrested and investigated.
Absolutely.
No, they don't say, no, excuse me. This is left-wing Reuters, okay? And they don't say no. They say, what's so funny? There's
a video of it. There's a video of it.
President Trump could have been killed. You think that's funny?
There's a video. No, I think it's funny that you are unprepared.
The United Nations believes, we're going to trust these jerks? The United Nations believes it solved the mystery of why an escalator abruptly stopped. They say his video... let me finish the sentence. His video, I'm reading from Reuters, his videographer may have accidentally triggered a safety mechanism. May have accidentally. Okay, they didn't say that he did. Right, but so slow down. So who tripped the teleprompter and turned it off during the speech?
They've already reported that it was MAGA, or it was Trump's personal people that were in charge of the prompter.
Oh, so okay. So Trump's okay. Oh, this is great.
They brought their own.
This is great. So Trump's guy shut down the escalator. Trump's guy shut down the teleprompter. Who turned down the microphone in the studio? I mean, in the auditorium.
That one I don't know.
That one you don't know. All right, yeah, give me a freaking break. Trump's guy did the escalator. Trump's guy did the turn the teleprompter off. Do any of you believe that? So I'll go back to this. This is Reuters. The United Nations believes it solved the mystery of the escalator. They say his videographer may have accidentally triggered a safety mechanism. That doesn't say that he did trip the escalator system. You got 3 mishaps that happened. 1, the escalator. 2, the teleprompter. And 3, and we only found this one out because Katie Pavlich was given a special media pass by Carolyn Levitt, that they turned down the volume of his microphone inside the auditorium. It sounded fine on television, but those in the auditorium, his microphone was turned down lower than the other leaders that spoke before him and after. So I'm not buying all this stuff. And you heard the glee in that moron's voice? He thinks it's funny. He actually thinks it's funny that the President of the United States almost fell backwards and split his head open. No, I don't believe any of this stuff, and I don't think you do either. But you know what liberals do? They just make crap up, and then they run with it as if it's factual. Now, if the rest of you on hold, hang in there. I've got a lot to cover today. When the radio show starts in a few minutes, of course, I'm going to have to open with the Jimmy Kimmel story, but we've got a lot of other things to cover as well. And I might 1 or 2 more things I want to talk about here before we move on. This is one. Okay, a lot of you liberals call in and talk about the tariffs. You don't know what you're talking about. We got an update here. Look at this in Breitbart. Inflation cooling as businesses absorb tariff costs rather than pass them to consumers. This is in Breitbart. American businesses are swallowing the higher cost of tariffs rather than raising prices for consumers, new data suggests, providing relief on inflation and supporting the idea that the Federal Reserve's focus should be on supporting the labor market. So here we have actual economic data that the tariffs not only are working internationally, but they're not driving up the prices. Don't look for this in the major news. They're not going to want to share that with you. But yet again, Trump is right. So what I'm going to open with when the radio show starts shortly is the Jimmy Kimmel story. We'll talk about the escalator, the microphone, and the teleprompter fails as well. But first, I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Yeah, guys, and make sure you go and use my promo code Kane at mypillow.com because Mike Lindell's sponsoring all this expansion. So he needs to hear from you guys that it's working. Okay, I did look up the guy that said it was Trump's guy that tripped the elevator. Total BS, okay? I'm going to read, the story originates in the Daily Beast, left-wing hacks. I'm going to read you the story. See, this is what happens, right? The liberals are always looking for what they want to hear as opposed to the truth. This is the liberal article in the Daily Beast. Insiders spill embarrassing truth about Trump's UN pratfalls. Donald Trump implied the United Nations was falling apart after his General Assembly address Tuesday kicked off with a set of technical challenges. But the reasons for the embarrassing hitches were closer to home. First, the escalator stopped immediately after Trump and his wife stepped onto it ahead of his major speech. Video showed the president looking around before he and the First Lady started walking up the unmoving escalator. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt posted a tweet demanding an investigation into whether someone had intentionally halted the escalator. Okay? But according to someone familiar with the situation, someone in the president's own entourage accidentally tripped the emergency stop. First off, you know what that last guy said, there was video. Notice it's like with Charlie Kirk. They all say they got video of everything, but you can't find the video because there is no video. And someone familiar with the situation told this to the Daily Beast. Who in the president's orbit would talk to the Daily Beast? BS. They were able to quickly reset it and move on. As Trump took the podium to speak, he complained that the teleprompter was not working. Instead, he had to read the printed copy. However, a person with knowledge of the situation revealed that delegations are allowed to bring their own laptops and teleprompter operators, and the UN was not running it for Trump's speech. The source said that the White House had its own laptop and UN technicians were not in the booth for the president's address. So that was their fault too. I'm calling BS on all of that. Okay? BS on all of that. There are no insider sources that are from the Trump orbit that are talking to the Daily Beast. I promise you that. I don't even think there's UN sources. I think they just make crap up, like they've been doing with Charlie Kirk the last 2 weeks. Oh, he said blacks can't fly airplanes. All lies. Now, so let's just say that the laptops were being used in the control. There's still people in the control room that are controlling the feed from the laptop. So there's still sabotage opportunities there. No one from the Trump administration has talked to anyone in the media. But don't stop the liberals from laughing and lying about things that they want to believe are true. No, none of that has been proven. Okay, I got a text from Mike at the radio station. We will be live, okay, in less than 3 minutes. Okay, hold on, let me get a couple things here. Okay, I need that. I need that. I need that, and I need that. Okay. I'm getting all my commercial copy ready. No, okay, the escalator could have gotten the president killed. When I was a little kid, I was scared of escalators. Weren't you guys? Were any of you guys ever scared of escalators when you were young? I was when I was. If you're on hold, stand by. We got a couple minutes and we'll be live, and I don't want to take any calls until after the live show starts. But how many people have you heard? Some of them have called me, and some of them I've seen on television. Charlie Kirk said black people can't fly airplanes. I've seen the video. I don't see any video of Trump's videographer tripping the emergency. Just an article with unnamed sources, which means they made it up, in the Daily Beast. The Daily Beast is the original source of all of that. If you're new to the program, make sure that you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Oh, wow. Somebody pretty well known just reached out to me. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Pretty impressive. We'll be live in about a minute. In fact, on Sunday, just so you know, staff members, this was in the Times of London on Sunday, an article in the Times of London, UN staffers were joking about sabotaging the escalator. To mark Trump's arrival, this was in the Times of London, to mark Trump's arrival, UN staff members have joked that they may turn the escalator off. I just retweeted that story, by the way. So, nope. That caller was, he may not have knowingly been lying, but he was sharing some things that weren't true. Okay, stand by. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. I know it's a long time, right? The 5-0 will be here before you know it. We've got a lot to cover today. Jimmy Kimmel's back. We're going to talk about that. There very well may have been, at the United Nations, an assassination attempt on President Trump. I'm going to talk about that and a whole bunch more, all right? And if you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's Wednesday already? Holy smokes. This week is going by fast, and sadly, it was 2 weeks ago today that liberal Democrat assassinated the late and the great Charlie Kirk. What a sad, rough couple of weeks it has been. Well, okay, I want to first get into Jimmy Kimmel, and then I'm going to get into the possible assassination attempt of the President of the United States, Donald Trump. Jimmy Kimmel I'm going to play only one clip of Jimmy Kimmel on the program today. Jimmy Kimmel returned to the air yesterday. And the reason I talk about this is it just burns me up at fake news media. The fake news media with their lies just burns me up. And it's probably always been this way. The media has probably always been fake. But, you know, when the internet was new, and they didn't call it the internet, it was called, during the Clinton administration, when the internet was new, they referred to it, it was called the information superhighway. Remember that? The information superhighway is what they originally called the internet. And when the internet was new, we figured by this time there was going to be so much news and information that people would be so well informed that the mainstream media wouldn't be able to lie to people anymore. And what we're finding and we're seeing each and every day, we've seen this a lot in the sad 2 weeks since Charlie Kirk was taken by that liberal assassin. But liberals believe what they want to believe, all right? They believe what they want to believe. They live in denial. And there's a big fake story that's just developing this morning about the possible assassination attempt on President Trump yesterday, which I'm going to get to after we talk about Charlie Kirk. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel and Charlie Kirk and what led up to this. President Trump and the FCC did not censor Jimmy Kimmel. President Trump was asked a few times about Jimmy Kimmel, and he rendered an opinion. The FCC board member and chair did some interviews and rendered opinions, but there was no action taken by the federal government or any agency of it to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air. This is what went down. Jimmy Kimmel went on the air after this god-awful assassination and was doing what he was passing off as a monologue, comedy, that a MAGA guy had assassinated Charlie Kirk. Two companies that own a lot of affiliates, over 100 between the two of them nationwide, didn't want to carry it because they thought it was in bad taste. They didn't want to carry the show for a few days until the nation healed. And at that moment, Jimmy Kimmel and ABC and his management, believe me, they worry about something like that. They do. They actually worry about something like that. He's attacking MAGA every night, and then the number 2 guy in the MAGA movement is brutally assassinated in front of the world, and a bunch of stations all of a sudden aren't going to carry the show. That panics people at networks and that have network shows. So they came up with this scheme. Now, the FCC chairman doing those interviews played into their hand, but he didn't do anything. He just gave some opinions in interviews. He did 3 interviews. He gave 3 opinions. They came up with this whole idea. He was taken off the air by ABC and Disney. This was a publicity stunt, a total publicity stunt. And if you think that the president had him taken off the air and or the FCC had him taken off the air, could you please tell me what official action they took to do that? And what action did they reverse that allowed him to return to the air last night? Could you share that with me? Because I missed that part of the story. It's 100% fake. It's a publicity stunt. There have been many publicity stunts over the years that people have pulled. And a lot of times they backfire. You know what this one reminds me of? It hasn't backfired on Jimmy Kimmel because I realized something today. You know, I start the show every day. I've been doing this for about a month and a half now. I start the show about 40 or 45 minutes before we go live on the radio. I start about 5 a.m., 20 after 5 a.m., and I take live calls. And I got a call from someone about 25 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. And it just all clicked for me. I'll tell you about the call a little bit later, but it all clicked for me. Liberals believe what they want to believe. Liberals believe what they want to believe. Right? It's like, you know, if you have any young children listening, you know, cover their ears for a moment. It's like there comes a time when a child starts to question Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, but they still play along after they kind of know they're in denial because they don't want to, you know. It's kind of like that. Liberals believe what they want to believe. So they want to believe that the FCC and the president censored Jimmy Kimmel. Nothing could be further from the truth. And they're also so desperate for heroes and icons that they've built a following around this mediocre talent, Jimmy Kimmel. I watched his complete opening monologue this morning, but I'm only going to play one clip. This is when he's talking about Charlie Kirk, and he's tearing up. And this is, if you're on hold, stand by. And after the first break, I'll get into the possible assassination attempt on the president yesterday. But I want to play this one clip, and I want to ask you this question. Is Jimmy Kimmel crying for real, or is it fake? I'm calling fake. What do you think? 888-465-2631. Is it real or is it Memorex? The tearless crying. Yeah. Yeah, right. Well, tell that to your liberal friends that are shooting people and killing them. I mean, we had a Trump assassin convicted yesterday for an attempted assassination on the president at the golf course. Of course there's a connection. It's the left. Was he really crying? Or was it fake? If there was any real crying, and I don't think there was, it was for his own self because he's nervous about the whole situation. But this is nothing more than a very successful publicity stunt. People have done publicity stunts, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. Does anyone really believe that Pamela Anderson's construction worker team stole that video of her having sex with Tommy Lee that made her an international superstar beyond even the Baywatch fame? I don't think so. Does anyone believe that Kim Kardashian's porno tape just miraculously made it out there and she became a fame? No, of course not. None of these things are by accident. Remember when Mort Downey Jr. Said he got attacked by skinheads in a New York City bathroom and they wrote all these Nazi things all over his face and it was all written backwards? That's how he got busted, because he wrote it himself in the mirror. He was like Jimmy Kimmel, Mort Downey Jr., who I liked. I was a fan of Mort Downey Jr., and I bring him up because he had a talk show. And I don't remember what had happened, but he was off. He didn't have his show anymore. And he pulled this publicity stunt of him he wanted his show back, so he tried to get some publicity. So he came up with this publicity stunt that he got attacked by racist skinheads in a men's room who beat him up in New York City, and they wrote all these things on it. I can't remember exactly what they wrote, and it was all in reverse because he had written it on his own face in the mirror. And he got busted. And I don't think we really heard from Mort Downey Jr. again after that. Not much. I always liked him before that. Remember, he had a great show. It was fun. And that's what this is. But the media are so desperate to believe things that are not true that even though they know that this is fake, that President Trump and the FCC did nothing, they want to believe it to fulfill their hatred of President Trump, so they're going along with it. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take a break. I'm going to talk about the attempted assassination of the president. And then I'm going to tell you about a call I got about 30 minutes ago on this program from a disgusting liberal. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. I want to talk about Dr. Philip Appleton. If you're in pain of any kind, listen up. Now, I've told you guys now for over 3 years that Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain so many times, and it's a total of 7 times. Okay, total of 7 times. And, the first time was my knee. I was in a car accident, and I suffered with knee pain for about 30 years. It was bad. It was so bad that when I was on the air, I'd have to lean against a chair on my left side to take the weight off my right leg because it would hurt so much. After just 2 treatments, my pain was gone and it had not returned. And it's been over 3 years the pain hasn't returned. Since then, he's relieved me of pain 7 times in total. Arthritis pain, sometimes from falls and other injuries. And each and every time, not only did he rid me of the pain completely, the pain has never returned. So whatever pain you're in, give Dr. Appleton a call. We've had listeners travel from all over the United States, New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and many other places from out of state come to Florida to see Dr. Appleton. He's that good. And here's something that is very, very important. All right. Not only are appointments not necessary and walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays, the consultation with Dr. Appleton is free. So take advantage of the no-charge free consultation. Go talk to Dr. Appleton about how the laser away pain treatment can rid you of your pain and your suffering. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain like I've done 7 times. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. So what do you guys think? Were those tears from Jimmy Kimmel, were they real or were they Memorex? I don't think they were real at all. What do you guys think? Real or fake? So I'm also going to get into the assassination attempt on the president, possible assassination attempt when we get back as well. and I will take your calls. Then if you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, to see and hear the audio and video that I play, you have to go to my main live stream, which is also here on YouTube. The link is in the description of the video. So you click that video, it'll take you to the main stream, and you can see and hear all the video. You get the green screen, full effects over there. So the link is in the description of the video. Okay. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Hold on, guys. Now, if you are a Medicare recipient, open enrollment will be here before you know it. You want to call Chapter. No matter where you are in the United States, Chapter can help you with your Medicare. The number's in the description of the video. It's also on the screen, 805-754-3033. You know, there's over 24,000 Medicare plans, and because Chapter's a national company, they can help you in all 50 states and territories. They have access to all the over 24,000 plans. They'll make sure you get the one that's right for you. Make sure your doctors are covered, your specialists are covered, your prescriptions covered, everything's covered. They'll make sure you're not paying too much if you're paying for a supplement. You know, the average Chapter client saves $1,100 a year on their Medicare, so give them a call. 805-754-3033. When you call, you're going to get a real live agent on the phone. They'll take time to answer all your questions and make sure that you're in the right Medicare plan. And it's always free help. Won't cost you anything. 805-754-3033. Again, the number is in the description of the episode. Call Chapter today. 805-754-3033. All right, we'll be back shortly. I'll take some calls when we get back. Welcome one and all. If you're new, my name is Brian. This is Where MAGA Comes to Talk. This is a radio station break we're in right now. We will be back in about a minute. Yep, exactly 1 minute. We'll be back. Oh, man. I've got a doctor's appointment this morning when I get off the air, so it's an important one. I'll tell you about it maybe tomorrow. Not before, maybe tomorrow. I don't want to tell people what it's about and get calls about it today. I'll wait until after the doctor tells me what's going on to tell you guys. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Yeah, you guys on the green, with the green behind me, click over to my other stream. The link's in the description, and you'll be able to see and hear all the audio and video that I play. All right? All right, here we go. We are back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. So we're talking about Jimmy Kimmel. I'll get into the possible attempted assassination of the president in a few minutes. I'll take a call or two. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on Kimmel. Was he really crying? Was that fake? 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Radio show. So we're talking about... You're on the air.
Hello?
Yep, you're up. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Steven. I'm calling from Boston.
All right, Steven, what's on your mind?
I want to get your take on Trump's kind of reversal here on his stance on Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. What about it? Be more specific.
All right, well, now he said that the war wouldn't be over until Ukraine gets its original boundaries back, which kind of is a reversal of his land swap, ideas he had before.
Yeah.
So wants to sell weapons to Europe to provide to Ukraine.
Yeah, we're already doing that. right? NATO's buying weapons from the United States. Yeah.
So now he's basically back to what Biden's stance on Ukraine was.
Not at all. Biden.
Why not?
First of all, this war is Biden's fault.
Sure.
No, not sure. Biden told...
No, keep going with that.
Oh, I will. Biden said that Putin could take some of Ukraine. He said it on global television. They asked him about military intervention. He said, it depends on how much he takes. He gave him the okay to come in, he was vague about how far he could come into Ukraine. Plus the fact that he was incoherent and not really running the country, that his staff was running the country illegally with the auto pen. And believe me, Russian intelligence knew that. And they knew the country was weak with a weakling leader who had some type of Alzheimer's or some other dementia-related thing. And through his okay and his weakness, this war began. All right, so that's point one.
Did Biden have Putin on American soil and roll out a red carpet and have him give a propaganda speech before him in front of the presidential seal of the United States?
Oh, so you think that President Trump? You think President Trump shouldn't have done anything to try to stop the war? You think he just should have let the... You're trying to tell me that this is where you on the left lose all your credibility.
Who said I was on the left?
You did.
When?
By the stupid things coming out of your mouth. You're obviously a liberal. That's okay. I mean, I'd be embarrassed too. If I were a Democrat, I wouldn't want to tell people either. I'd be embarrassed too. So I understand why you're hiding it, but you know, you're a liberal. You hate Trump.
I don't think you know what you are.
You don't think I know what I am?
Can you explain the Trump 2028 hat?
Are you trying to change the subject? I'm not changing the subject. I'm talking about this
right now.
We
can keep talking about Ukraine.
I can talk about what I want.
Ukraine
it's just a matter of whether or not you're going to be a part of the conversation or not. All right? So here's the thing about Ukraine. You know, first off, you're acting as if there's something Trump could do that you would approve of. As a liberal and a never-Trumper, no matter what Trump does, you're going to oppose it. I saw there were some idiot women I read an article about this morning that are pregnant who were taking Tylenol around the clock, they said, right? Because Trump said Tylenol is bad for pregnant women. So they're going out of the way to take Tylenol during their pregnancies. So you on the left are insane, right? But you act as if there's something that if Trump would have done something different involving Biden's war between Russia and Ukraine, you would have approved of it. He can do nothing that you guys on the left will approve of. And when you act as if he would have done something differently, you would have been happy, is just a lie. Did you pass out? All right. He, did I lose you? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's the same guy.
I thought it was. I didn't know where you went. I didn't know where you went. No, you're on the air. So furthermore,
I was saying to you that Ukraine has lost more land to Russia.
Yeah.
Since
over
any course of time when Biden was in
office. So what I was telling you was this. People are dying by the thousands every week, the president has told us. He said the war is far more deadly than we're being led to believe. So what that he met with Putin? Should he not try to stop the slaughter?
It's definitely not the way to do it.
Oh, really? What's the way to do it?
Like getting rid of sanctions on Russia, which he did.
Getting rid of sanctions.
Or not putting more sanctions on Russia, which he hasn't done.
Sure. Yesterday at the UN, that he has increased sanctions on Russia, and yesterday at the UN.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yesterday
at the reversal.
Okay, we got first dump of the day, Mike. If you're on hold, stand by. We got to wait for the delay to rebuild. Can liberals talk without using the F word? What is it with the F word and liberals? It's almost one of the most common words in the liberal language. He said it's an F in reversal, he said, but he said the word. And what is it with the liberals with the F word? But, you know, I'll just finish up with this, with what I was saying to that guy. So Putin's insane. What is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to do? You know, and what's going on right now because of this Biden war is so incredibly dangerous and frightening. I'm here to tell you, I am nervous as you know what about it. And the reason I am so nervous is because President Trump, he was asked yesterday if Russian weapons enter the airspace of some of these other countries, what should they do? He said, shoot them down. So we're at the beginnings of the Third World War. Thanks a lot, Joe Biden. Unbelievable. I think President Trump has bent over backwards trying to end this Biden war, but what else? What's he supposed to do? So now he has to stand up with Ukraine. Believe me, he has a lifetime history of being anti-war. If you're on hold, stand by as we wait for the delay to re-engage. I want to tell everyone about Friendly Tire and Margate. You know, Friendly Tire and Margate has thousands of used tires in stock at incredibly low prices, and they are very good used tires, okay? So you can also, you know, I talk mostly about the new tires because the new tires are so low in price. To me, you know, buy 2 tires at a time brand new is what I would do. But if you need a tire, he has thousands of good quality used tires in stock. But you can get brand new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. And remember, Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or dispose of your old tire. So when you call Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire, the price he gives you over the phone is the out the door and on the road price. He has every tire size that you want in those new tires, and he has all the name brands you know and love too. He also does tire repairs. Give him a call. He'll give you a price right over the phone, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be right back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Tommy from Ohio.
Hey, what's up, Ohio?
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing. How are you doing?
I just wanted to tell you something.
Oh, here we go. Yes.
It's refreshing to find a man in this world that could tell the truth anymore about what's going on.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, you're right about that.
Everything has changed in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can't even tell you how offended I am by it, but these lefty freaks are just unbelievably lost their minds, or no education, or the shot they took the jab and they don't know, bro. But it's a little scary.
Well, what's happened is
you know what
it is? The liberals have always been this way.
It's a little scary, Brian. It's good to meet you, though.
The liberals have always been this way. I appreciate that. The liberals have always been this way. They're just open about it now. They used to hide their true feelings. Now they just have them all out there. All right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Take care. All right. From Ohio. All right, let's take another call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Jake from Kentucky.
Yep, Jake. What's on your mind?
I got 2 points to make. One, the great Michael Scheuer, who was the head of the CIA Bin Laden unit. He always had the idea that the U.S. support of Israel brings hate around the world. And I kind of get where he's coming from.
Oh, because you hate Jews too? Because you don't like Jews too? Okay.
I don't hate Jews. I hope everyone in the whole area thrives. And that's what he said. But Israel would get along fine without us, as we would too. My point number 2 is the open carry in Florida.
Yes.
We've had open carry in lower Kentucky my whole life. When I was in high school, people had gun racks in their trucks. Never any violence.
Yeah, me too.
So criminal culture is what breeds gun violence. It's not the guns.
That's correct. Yeah, I'm excited about it. We're going to, tomorrow, I think what's today's date? Yeah, tomorrow is the official open carry day in Florida. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm excited about it.
And like I said, like when I was in high school, people nowadays, the younger ones, when they hear that I'm 48 years old, so people, when they hear that we had gun rack on parking lots in high school, they don't believe me.
No, I remember that myself. Yeah, no, it used to be that way. Yeah. People would, and in the gun racks, typically it was a 12 gauge, a 30-30, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And back to my first point, go back and listen to the Michael Scheuer interview on Bill Maher.
No, I'm not
and
interested.
I'm not promoting it or
I'm not
anything
interested.
like that. But
I'm not interested.
Just listen to what he said about. I mean, he was an important guy. He was the head of the CIA bin Laden unit. He's been there in the war, and hopefully, that message can ring true that he was more interested in the survival of the United States.
Mm-hmm. Well, Israel, we don't, Israel does buy weapons from us, but we don't join them in the fight.
They buy our older weapons. I've got a friend that was in the Navy. He was a Navy admiral, and he said they're buying our older weapons. We're not selling them the, new weapons that we use every day in war. Well,
listen, I gotta run for the. We're coming back, but I appreciate the call. All right, welcome to the show. All right, make sure you follow if you're new. If you're watching with the green behind, go to my mainstream link below. You can get all the green screen effects. All right, here we go. We're coming back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, so I want to talk about what very well may have been an assassination attempt on the president yesterday, and a call I got here on the program about 45 minutes ago. There were 3 sabotage moments at the president's UN event yesterday. One was the escalator. 2 was his microphone that we found out later. The sound on television was fine, but inside the UN chamber, his microphone was turned down lower than the other leaders who were speaking. Isn't that something? And then his teleprompter went out in the middle of his speech. And out of all of that, the escalator was actually very dangerous. And I would tell you a possible assassination attempt. Escalator, when I was a child, I was scared of escalators. They were scary when I was little. And, when the president and first lady got on that escalator, it stopped. And you see the jerking when it stopped. Okay, and when you're on an escalator that's moving and it stops abruptly, you could fall back. The first lady is always in high heels, and I would imagine it's difficult for women in high heels to stand on an escalator anyway, because I didn't see the actual steps, but a lot of those steps, they're uneven, right? On escalators, they kind of got like those strips of metal. I don't know if this one had those kind. But escalator steps, they're metal, and it's sharp metal. And you fall backwards, you hit the back of your head on the escalator step, you could be dead in a second. Now, when that first happened, I thought, interesting. I didn't think as much about it until the president was giving his speech. And then in the middle of his speech, he lets us know that the escalator went out. That the teleprompter went out. And he actually talked about it a little bit. Let me pull this up. He actually talked about the teleprompter. And you put the 2 of those together, I don't believe in coincidences. And of course, the teleprompter going out, it was to try to embarrass him and him not to be able to speak. And finish his speech, but he free associates all the time when he's doing his rallies, so it's no problem for him.
And I don't mind making the speech without a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you, nevertheless. And that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
Okay, so then we find out after the event through Caroline Levitt that the president's microphone volume was turned down low in the auditorium, lower than all the other speakers. So we have 3 instances of sabotage. So about 45 minutes ago, I get a call from a guy he thinks it's all funny. And he, of course, because he's a liberal and they're sick. And he tells me this. It was the president's videographer who hit the emergency stop, and he's seen video of it. Look it up. So I look it up. There's a story in Reuters, which is a reprint of a story from the Daily Beast. The Daily Beast is liberal. They say they have sources at the UN who told them that the videographer did this, and that the UN sources say that President Trump's people were the ones who mistakenly shut off the teleprompter. And the guy called and said he saw the video. See, this is a new thing. It started with all of these slanders against the late, great Charlie Kirk by the liberals. I've had multiple liberals call me and say, Charlie Kirk said he wouldn't fly on a plane flown by a black man. I have seen the video. So, of course, what I do is ask them, well, let me get to the video. I'll share it. I'll share the audio of it. We'll play it on the air. Their new thing is, this happened and I've seen the video. Like this videographer on the escalator. No, there's no video. I looked it up. There's this article, every article about it. The original source was the Daily Beast. There's no video. There's no sourcing. They're just making crap up. And I'm here to tell you that whether or not they thought about it this way, that was an attempted assassination on our president on that escalator yesterday. And we know there was a coordinated plot. A lot of world leaders spoke yesterday. I don't know how many, bunch of insignificant people. Who cares who they are? But out of all of them, only one world leader had problems, and he had three. His name's Donald John Trump, the 45th and 47th president of the United States. The escalator failed while he was on it. He could have fallen and busted his head open. The teleprompter going out in the middle of his speech, and the microphone being turned down low. You mean to tell me that's a coincidence, or those are Trump's people? I don't think so. There should be arrest made over this. Now, Caroline Leavitt went on Jesse Waters last night. And yeah, you're right, I'm angry at it. This is, any American who knows of this should be angry, because this was an attack on our country. Here's Caroline Leavitt last night on Jesse Waters. See, did you hear this? So the Sunday before this event, the Daily Times of London had quotes from UN staffers joking about sabotaging the escalator. And then it happened. Nope. Yeah, I mean, maybe Pam Bondi could arrest someone. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Barry from Louisiana.
Hey, Louisiana.
I have a quick question. We pay the most to the UN, and what I'm understanding is they're help destroying the United States with immigrants and things like that, what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on why we pay the most, and what benefit do we get?
We pay the most because we've had stupid leaders. It's the UN is kind of like USAID. It's a place where they steal. President Trump was talking about the remodeling of it yesterday and how they spent $5 billion and did an incomplete job and all this stuff. The politicians, it was another one of their grifts.
Right. Yeah, this is really disgusting.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my quick question, and I appreciate you answering it for me.
All right, take care. Appreciate the call. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard from Pompano.
Hey, Richard. Hold on 1 second, Richard. Let me answer all these phone lines that are coming in. All right, Richard, what's on your mind?
Okay, I was watching Trump and his wife go up the escalator, and I had a different theory.
Okay.
Just tell me if you agree or think it's even possible. If someone was waiting to take him out, what at that moment before the escalator stopped, Trump was a moving target.
No. This is not. No. Let me explain, Richard.
Yeah.
Some idiot, some leftist pranksters thought it would be funny to embarrass him and stop him on the escalator, and he might fall or trip or stumble. And what can happen when you fall like that, you could be killed. And when you do something that and someone dies and you didn't intend for them to die, that's called manslaughter. Now, I don't know what the proper charge is if it's a world leader like this, a head of state. It's got to be more than manslaughter if it's a head of state, But there obviously was a conspiracy. The escalator, the teleprompter, and the microphone.
Yeah. So it just made me think that, I don't know how to express it, that it was a coordinated effort.
Absolutely.
And they did stop. They did stop for at least a second and a half, and much easier target that way. But I'm glad.
Okay. Well, you can't get in there. They got the biggest security that you could imagine inside that place. All right, Richard in Pompano, take care. Thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning.
Yes.
Kyle from California.
Hey, California. What's up?
Hey, good morning, sir. Thank you for the show every day. It gets me to work. Quick question. I know this is kind of off subject, but I listen to Steve Bannon a lot. That's probably my daily go-to. Is there really a chance for Trump to run in 2028 without chaos erupting?
Of course. They did. Awesome. Congress just has to change the Constitution.
That's great. That's great, because I feel like he needs another. With the way he's rolling right now, if he could have back-to-back, I really think he can make significant changes for our kids and their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that was it.
All right, I appreciate the call. All right, you take care. All right, I'll just take this call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Sherry. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Hey, good. Hey, I watched that UN speech yesterday, and the look on Melania's face when that escalator came to a stop was like, what the hell is happening? And then he was angry because when he got up there and was speaking at the podium, I mean, he lashed out. He did not hold back. He did not hold back on anybody, and he didn't care. And he said, all of your countries are going to hell, every single one of them.
That's right.
And the UN, you know what? If you would start supporting me as the president of the United States, we could squash this. But you're playing against me. You don't support me. You don't support the United States. And he laid into the Palestinians and Russia. I mean, he drew in some pretty good crowd when he was speaking. He didn't care.
No, that's right.
He did not care.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this sabotage at the UN?
Oh, it was a complete setup. There's no way that all three incidents happened.
Well, they're trying to blame Trump's staff. They're trying to say Trump's video guy shut down the escalator. Trump's guy shut down the teleprompter. Give me a break.
What? How in the hell?
They're making it up. They're making it up.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy talking. Anybody that has any common sense would be able to read between the lines. It was a setup. But I'll tell you what, when he stood at that podium, Brian, and he spoke, you could hear a pin drop.
That's right. You could.
So it was a good speech. I was so proud of our president. Thank you for taking my call.
All right, take care. Now, I want to ask you this. This may be the most important question I ask you today. Do you or someone you know or love suffer from neuropathy? Oh boy, if you answered yes, I don't have to tell you. You know how bad it is. Neuropathy can leave you bedridden. It's just the quality of life with neuropathy. It's a rough life, isn't it? Absolutely. But there's a treatment for neuropathy that works and a treatment that lasts at Lighthouse Medical right here in Pompano. And remember, if you're not local, no matter where you're located, even if you're local and you can't make it in person, Lighthouse Medical can help you and treat you remotely, all right? And if you have any of these symptoms, you may have neuropathy. You want to call Lighthouse Medical. Let them take advantage of the no-charge consultation. Let them examine you and find out if you have neuropathy, numbness, pain, burning, tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness, dizziness. Are you falling down from time to time or all the time? The feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet. Maybe you have no feeling at all. Steve had neuropathy and he had it hardcore, man. I'm here to tell you. And over 3 years ago, Lighthouse Medical treated Steve for his neuropathy. His neuropathy symptoms disappeared, and over 3 years later, they have not returned. Here's the number, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back. All right, guys. Be back in just a minute. All right, we will be back shortly. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. Okay. We'll be back in about a minute. And this next article that I want to go over, I saw this and I didn't want to bring it up, but I got to now. I mean, the mindset of the liberals has just gotten so out of control. If you're new, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. Oh, man. And if you could like the video and share on your socials, that would be so spectacular and good too. Less than a minute, we'll be back. Oh, I don't need these quite yet. Yeah, I've got this, it's a big doctor's appointment today after I get off the air. I'll tell you about it probably later if not this week, next week. All right. Oh, it's almost time. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you want to call in, the number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. That's 888-465-2631. Okay, now this story, you hear how these liberals are. I mean, they are so twisted, right? I mean, they've just gotten so insane and twisted. And did you hear about the witches? Now, I'm not talking about The View. I'm talking about the witches of with Etsy. Did you hear about this story? It's out of Newsweek. Liberal website paid Etsy witches to hex Charlie Kirk days before assassination. A progressive U.S.-based website, I'm reading from Newsweek, a progressive U.S.-based website paid online witches to curse conservative activist Charlie Kirk days before he was fatally shot during a student question and answer session at Utah Valley University. I mean, what kind of people do things? The Jezebel article titled, "We Paid Some Etsy Witches to Curse Charlie Kirk" was published on the Monday before the assassination. It is intended as a humorous wry look at the reach and influence of the internet on our lives, saying that while Kirk, who built up a huge online following, is one of the downsides of the internet, it also has its gifts, they write in the article. This article was the Monday before he was assassinated. "I can now buy a curse as easily as I can buy a phone charger on Etsy. You can find a spell for just about anything," the article says. "These days, witches cater to more than just personal grudges, and it's not uncommon for them to channel their energy towards thwarting Republicans. Are you interested in punishing..." This is in the article, the Monday before he was assassinated. "Are you interested in punishing Charlie Kirk for the years of regressive rhetoric he shouted at America's youth and anyone within earshot? Here at Jezebel, we're about to find out if there's a spell for that." As the writer sets about buying a suitable curse, can you believe this? From an online witch on Etsy, they clearly state they do not want to harm Kirk. But they bought a spell, had a curse put on him, and then that Thursday, he was assassinated. They wrote this: "I want to make it clear, I'm not calling on dark forces to cause him harm. Then why pay a witch to put a curse on him? I just want to wake up every morning with an inexplicable zit." They wanted to have a zit. "I want his podcast microphone to malfunction every time he hits record. I want his blue blazers to suddenly all be one size too small. I want some of his socks to always be sliding down his foot. I want his thumb to grow too big to tweet, to ruin his day with the collective feminist power of the Etsy coven." The online magazine also issued an editor's note at the top of the article after Kirk was shot, saying, "This story was published on September 8th. Jezebel condemns the shooting of Charlie Kirk in the strongest of terms. We do not endorse, encourage, or exercise political violence of any kind," although they hired a witch on Etsy to put a curse on him. After placing a "make everyone hate him" spell, the author ends on what in retrospect appears to be a foreboding note. "So did my Etsy curse work? Time will tell." This was an article published the Monday before the assassination. "So did my Etsy curse work? Time will tell. The forces move in mysterious ways, as the priestess reminded me. Spell work is a collaboration between the caster, the client, and the universe itself. For now, we can only trust in the timing of the great unknown." Okay. Obviously, I don't believe in witches or witchcraft. Okay. I do believe in evil, and the left are evil. And it goes to, this just it's one thing to do what it is that they did. It's another to go out and hire some witch on Etsy to cast the curse. You know, when we tell you that liberals want people dead simply because they disagree with them, we're not kidding. They have this Democrat liberal assassin in Utah who assassinates Charlie Kirk. They shot President Trump. His second assassin was just convicted on all counts yesterday. We find out they got these. How many curses have the liberals put on Republicans, on MAGA people, through Etsy witches, the Etsy coven? I didn't know such things exist. And I don't believe in witchcraft or any of that. I know it's nonsense and fairy tales and make-believe. But it goes to the mindset of the liberals that, you know what liberals are big into? Manifesting. They're not into Jesus and all the true things. They're into manifesting. If you wish for something and hope for it and just, I know, please, they think it can happen. Well, in the case of these liberal lunatics, they hired a witch to put a curse on Charlie Kirk. They published it on Monday, and the Thursday after that, an assassin kills him. It goes to tell you the mindset of the liberals. They are, without question, evil as evil gets. And it's really troubling. It's really troubling. You know, I mean, they're just, you know, it's what the vice president said. There's no unity with the left. There's no middle ground with the left. The president said yesterday on this government shutdown with Schumer, he's not even going to negotiate with them anymore. It's a waste of time to negotiate with them. How can you negotiate with these people that are hiring witches to put curses on our leaders, that are shooting our people dead? It is rainy season. It is hurricane season. If you have a leaky roof, oh man, you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. You know, Tom Laporta, not only does he cover both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between, he works on every type of structure, residential, commercial, and municipal. He works with every type of roofing material, and he'll never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need a simple repair, he will do it. And I've talked to, there was one of our listeners that was on the cruise. And there's several people in our cruise group that have new roofs courtesy of Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. But one of them, they had a wet spot on their ceiling. So they called Tom Laporta. They thought, oh man, I need a new roof. It was an air conditioning line that was draining water on their ceiling. They got it taken care of. I guess they got a 2-story house. That's probably what happened. That's what I mean. If you don't need a new roof, Tom Laporta will not sell you the new roof. He'll do the repair, or in that instance, just tell you what the problem is and get that taken care of. Give him a call. This number rings directly to his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com. All right, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. When we get back, we'll take some more calls, and there's a lot more to share. Your thoughts are certainly welcome at 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll break for the top of the hour and be back right after this. I mean, these are just crazy people. Crazy people. All right. I'm just queuing some things up for the next segment. Okay. We'll be back shortly, guys. All right, so I'm just queuing up a couple things I'm going to get into after the break. We'll be back in about a minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. Okay. I always get nervous when I go to the doctor. I'm going in for something very specific. I'll be telling you about it, but I always get nervous going to the doctor. You guys get nervous when you go to the doctor? But you got to know. Welcome, everyone. All right, less than 30 seconds. We'll be back. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Okay, so talking about these lunatics on the left, right? And it seems like it's been mainly since the 90s that I've been hearing about autism so much, right? And, you know, and the main way I've been hearing about autism is from all those puzzle pieces, bumper stickers on people's cars or in the back windows of their cars. And that's something I never really got, you know, but, you know, whatever. But President Trump had that press conference a couple of days ago, and they were talking about the belief by some of the top medical researchers, like at Johns Hopkins and others, that there was some connection between Tylenol and autism. Okay. I mean, these are the top medical experts. Johns Hopkins. But liberals, the Trump derangement syndrome is so deep in their bones, they've lost their minds. All right? Listen to this story. This is in Breitbart. And I did post this on my X at Brian Craig Show. Pregnant liberal women are posting videos downing Tylenol to own Trump, who they claim this is an attack on women. So because, you know, so President Trump comes out with top medical experts, with studies from the most respected medical research institutions in the United States, where we have the best healthcare in the world, and the top doctors and researchers. They say, if you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. Trump said it a whole bunch of times. So you got a bunch of liberal women who are pregnant that are not only taking Tylenol, they're taking it not for any reason other than they hate Trump. This is in Breitbart. This is nuts. Some pregnant liberal women are posting videos of themselves downing Tylenol following the Make America Healthy Again announcement on Monday. I'm reading from Breitbart, in which President Donald Trump recommended pregnant women limit intake of the drug due to possible associations with an increased risk of autism. Now, this is not something I say lightly. These women need to be investigated. If you are pregnant and you are taking a pill simply because the president recommended pregnant women don't, are you a fit parent? Are you a fit parent? Back to the Breitbart article, some liberal women have used the announcement as a way to, quote, own Trump making videos of themselves downing Tylenol. In one video, a woman, what does that say? Shows, they can't write, shows her pill with the caption, "Here's me, a pregnant woman, taking Tylenol because I believe in science and not someone who has no medical background," she wrote, making no mention of Trump. Did she, well, what about Dr. Oz and those other doctors that came up and spoke? There were at least 3 doctors who spoke. Dr. Oz, that lady doctor, and that guy I never heard of. Similar videos are surfacing as well, with leftist soon-to-be moms apparently not concerned about a potential link between Tylenol and the risk of autism. I mean, and these are very pregnant women, and they're bragging about it. What's going on in this country, And I know a lot of people say that, well, these liberals are, they got the Trump. They've always been lunatics. The only difference is now they're out of the closet about it. They're so triggered by Trump, they don't hide it anymore. And social media and having access to social media and TikTok and stuff like that, it certainly doesn't. But I'll tell you that if you're taking any type of medication, even an over-the-counter one like this, where they have come out and said there's a risk, and you're doing it and you're taking it while you're pregnant solely because Trump said don't, you very well may not be a fit parent. And I do not say that lightly. I mean, liberal parenting in itself it can be incredibly damaging to a child. But to do this, my goodness, and where are their husbands? And these are the videos that I've seen online are the ones that were in this article. It's all liberal white women, the Karens. Liberal white women, are completely insane. Completely insane. And then there's Candace Owens, who's not white, and she's also completely insane. But we're in a new phase, and part of the thing that's scary about this, these were the people that were running this country like 8 months ago. The people running the country with the auto pen, right, for 4 years, they were catering to these lunatics. And future Democrats are going to be catering to those lunatics. I was watching a lot of this coverage of Kamala Harris yesterday, and the general consensus among liberals is that she ended her political career with this interview she did with Rachel Maddow. Now, I'm not going to play the audio. I played it yesterday, but you've heard what the subject is. Kamala Harris, she had considered picking Mayor Pete Buttigieg as her running mate, but thought a black woman and a gay man running together would be too much and was unelectable, so she picked Tim Walz. And they're saying she ended her political career. She's not homo. What Kamala Harris is saying, but she's too stupid to articulate much of anything. I can't believe I don't believe she passed the bar. I think her sugar daddy at the time, Willie Brown, got her through it. I don't think she passed the bar. She's too stupid. She's saying that their internal polling showed that Democrats wouldn't vote for a gay man and a black woman on the same ticket. It's not her fault. It's what their internal Democrats told the internal pollsters that they wouldn't vote for a black woman and a gay man. The homophobia is not from Kamala Harris. It's from the Democrat voting bloc. I don't know why they're mad at her. They're the ones that were polled and said they wouldn't elect them. All right, let me take some calls. Let me look at the... Yeah, we got time for some calls. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Michael in Boca. How you doing?
All right, Michael. What's on your mind?
Well, I was watching the YouTube video kind of in delay, so I don't know if you've already moved on, but when you were talking about the escalator and everything, did anybody bring up the fact that even another sabotage thing, I don't know if it was brought up, but when President Trump was speaking, that his mic got cut and it was some Russian translation coming through? It sounded like Russian translation.
The Russian translation I didn't hear. I saw Caroline Levitt was on with Jesse Waters last night, and she said that his mic was turned down volume-wise in the chamber itself, lower than the other leaders. I didn't hear this thing about it, the Russian translation coming out. Really?
No, there was one point, maybe it was around 10 to 15 seconds, but you couldn't hear Trump at all. I mean, it was just very low, but all you heard was like what they were hearing in their headset. Like, but I don't know if it was Russian or something like that. There was complete sabotage, and honestly, Brian, the first thing I thought was like, when I saw the escalator thing, my heart dropped, because it was almost like a mafioso type of a situation.
Yeah.
You know, I just got so scared, thinking, I hope they're looking around right now, you know, because like that was scary.
What they did, what they were trying to do was get him to trip, right, by the jerking, and luckily the saboteurs stopped it as soon as they stepped on. If they would have waited till they had picked up some more speed and were halfway up, it could have had, you know, Melania could have fallen with those high heels, and she would have fallen back into the president.
Oh, yeah.
And it could have killed him. I consider that to be an assassination attempt, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree with you. At the least, it was just to embarrass or sabotage. I can't even imagine if it was the going down escalator. Oh my God! It's like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
You know, how does that happen?
By the way, did they take the escalator back down? Does anyone know? I didn't see them exit. Or did they take an elevator?
Not.
I wonder if they took an elevator or stairs instead of an escalator.
Who knows? If they were smart, they didn't have cameras running.
I believe that the United States should cut off immediately all funding and support of the United Nations until this is till the people that did this are brought to justice. That's a pretty big deal.
It was clear sabotage.
It's not a joke. They were trying to embarrass the president, embarrass America, and they could have been responsible for his death if he fell backwards on that escalator. Escalators have that. Those stairs are sharp metal. That could split anyone's head open.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm always nervous getting on an escalator.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm always worried about tripping when it's moving normally. Mm-hmm. But no, especially in the light of where, you know, we are right now as far as our fear. We don't have fear, but there's chaos going on right now. Right. These things, we have to change everything so that everybody starts to feel. Everybody's been talking about being safer and secure, security of our people, security of our country, and definitely security for the most powerful man in the world.
That's right. Well, listen, I gotta run, but thanks for the call from Boca. All right, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. I have a doctor's appointment after the show today, and I'll be telling you guys about it because we're going to have a new sponsor here on True Oldies, and I have a medical appointment today, and I'm really I'm excited about it because I've lost all this weight thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And I'll tell you guys what the appointment is for and what I'm having done later, maybe later this week or next week. But maybe tomorrow, I'll find out. But my wife was telling me last night, oh, this is going to be awesome because you just lost all that weight with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. So, and I was like, yeah, this is when I tell you what it is, you'll be excited and you'll want to, you know, do it too. But it's nice to go to a doctor after it's my first time getting anything medical done since I lost all this weight, which has changed everything. I mean, I have so much energy. You know, those of you that follow me online, have you noticed in the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks, I have added a whole bunch, right? I'm doing the shows now 4 hours in the morning, my afternoon show, my weekend shows. And the reason I've been able to double what I've been doing, literally more than double what I've been doing show-wise, is because I have so much more energy naturally, having lost over 35 pounds from Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You know, you can lose 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days. My results are typical. Remember, I didn't take any medications, no shots, no injections. Have you guys seen Ryan Seacrest lately? Oh my goodness. Who wants to look like that? That's from those injections and stuff, I bet you. And I hear you have to do those forever. It's crazy. Who wants to look like that and get shots for the rest of your life? Forget about it. I did everything with Coastal Weight Loss Secret without any shots, no injections, no pills, no fad crazy diet where I'm eating no food and starving myself or eating foods that I don't like. I'm eating what I would normally eat, and of course, zero exercise other than running my mouth. That's the only exercise I get, running my mouth like I'm doing now. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call and take advantage of that no-charge free consultation. And remember, they can help you no matter where you are in the United States. We have listeners from all over the United States who have called Coastal Weight Loss Secret and have literally lost a ton of weight. Here's the number, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. We'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Now, those of you watching on the live stream with the green screen behind me, if you go to my main stream, you can see the articles, see the videos, and hear the audio I play. And the link to my main stream, it's right here on my YouTube channel, is in the description of the video. Click that link, it'll take you there. Now, all of these people that, if you're on hold, we're going to go to the calls after the break. All these people that are against the deportations, I mean, look who they're getting. Look at this. Feds are hunting for an illegal alien accused of raping and labor trafficking, which is slave trafficking, a child he sponsored through a migrant program. Look at this one. Sanctuary State of Connecticut. Twice deported illegal accused of raping jogger while holding box cutter to her throat. These are the Obama, Biden, Kamala dreamers. Look at this. Sanctuary State of Illinois. Left-wing activist riot on behalf of illegal aliens convicted of domestic abuse, dealing fentanyl, and drunk driving. I mean, what is wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? Right? Why would you be supporting any of these crazy things? It makes no sense at all. I want to remind you, those of you that are Medicare recipients, Medicare open enrollment is almost here. You want to call Chapter. No matter what state you're in, Chapter can help you with your Medicare, okay? The number on your screen is also in the description of the video. When you call, you're going to get a live agent. They'll be able to answer all your questions. It's 100% free. There's over 24,000 Medicare policies, and because Chapter's a national company, they have access to all of them. They'll make sure you're in the right policy. If you have a supplement, they'll make sure you're not paying too much. The average Chapter client saves $1,100 a year on their Medicare. So give them a call, 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. Again, the number is in the description of the episode. All right, guys? We'll be back shortly. What? Hold on, guys. I'm getting some things ready for the next segment, so give me a minute. All right. All right, we'll be back shortly. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back in just over a minute. Now I'll go back to the calls. Yes. Where in the chat, guys, where is everyone located? Like, what state or country are you in? If you're not in the United States, what country are you in? And if you're in the United States, what state are you in? Just out of my curiosity. We'll be back in 1 minute. Florida, just like me. Awesome. Georgia, Nevada, Connecticut, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina, Loxahatchee, Florida, Alabama, Pennsylvania, New York, Virginia, Florida, Oregon, Maryland, Georgia, New York, Grenada, welcome Grenada, California, Virginia Beach, New Mexico, Minnesota, Illinois, Vegas, Buffalo, New Zealand, welcome, Ohio, Georgia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Okay, here we go. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, back to the phones. We've covered a lot. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Franklin. I'm from Idaho right now.
All right, Franklin in Idaho. What say you?
There's a video that's going around about Charlie Kirk, how he got shot, and I'm wanting either an opinion or thoughts. He was apparently shot in the back of the head and it exited out through his neck instead of him being shot.
No, that's all fake. That's all fake. That's all fake.
Oh, okay, because I was watching a military sniper. He talked about it.
Yeah, military sniper. Well, if he's a military sniper, he's full of it. You know, the original video when it happened live, you see it hits him in the chest, ricochets to his neck. Bunch of nonsense. A bunch of sick, twisted people trying to get views, clicks, and retweets or whatever it is they're getting off the assassination of a good man. They're just sick people. That's all nonsense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, I was just looking into it, and he said the way his head kind of jerked, he's
full of it. I don't care what he is. I don't care what he is. He's full of it. If he says that he got shot from behind, he's full of it. He should be ashamed of himself.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted an opinion or a thought, so I'm just trying to. Yeah, I know. I'm just going after.
Well, what's your thoughts and opinions? What is your thought and opinion?
My thought and opinion is that he could have. I mean, it could have been anything, honestly, but the way it did look, it looked like it did get shot in the. Yeah, I know. It looked like he did get shot in the front, but the way other people says, and that's why I'm just wanting.
The reason he fell back is because he got hit in the front. He got hit in the front in the chest, and then it ricocheted to the neck. You can see it in the original video. The second it happened.
Yeah, but how would it ricochet? It's my other question.
Who knows?
Because he didn't have body armor on.
Well, I don't know what he had on. It could have ricocheted. It could have been body. He could have had a vest on. I haven't heard them specifically say he didn't. It could have been a bone it ricocheted off of. It could have been something he had on under the shirt. Who knows? But you see it hit the chest and bounce up to the neck.
Yeah.
Bullets can ricochet off bones, too.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. All right. Take care. Take care. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You know, the first thing, as soon as I heard exactly what you said, man, as soon as I heard what they did to President Trump, I said, shut off their money. These people are waste anyway. Shut it off. And maybe eventually, if we get back to giving them some money, give them only what everybody else gives.
And how about take that valuable real estate in Manhattan away from them, too, right?
Yeah.
You know, I gotta tell you, it's disgusting, Doug. The whole thing's disgusting.
But it's disgusting, man. How can they I mean, of course, all those countries, there's a lot of them that don't like America.
As you get older, President Trump, I'm 54, and, you hear me talk about Dr. Appleton. He's rid me of pain 7 times, but 3 or 4 of them have been from falls. And it amazes me when I have a fall now, what it does to me at my age as opposed to when I was younger. It's a whole nother ball game.
Oh, yeah.
And when you get older, you get nervous about falling because you know how injured you get.
I noticed his wife was holding onto the what do they call that thing, the handrail, to make sure, because if something happens, these things are dangerous.
Yeah.
My daughter had a foot caught in the thing, and if I was there to not rip that, she would have had a foot cut off, I think. So from her shoe got caught.
Well, the shoulder injuries I have had treated. I've had 3 shoulder injuries that Dr. Appleton has treated, ripped me a pain in. All of them are from falls on my skateboard. And let me tell you, these were not hard, dramatic falls going 30 miles an hour on the blacktop. It was falling in the grass off the board. It's just when I'm on the sidewalk, so I moved. When you're young, you don't understand. As you age, the injuries you get from falling, it's like you're made of glass.
Yeah, especially somebody like President Trump going up the escalator. He's thinking about being a nice person, saying hello to everybody. So he wasn't concentrating on the escalator. So he's lucky he didn't get hurt, because these people are insane.
People die falling down regular stairs. You fall backwards on an escalator. When if the First Lady would have come back, he'd have her weight. He's got his Kevlar vest on, and his suit very well could be Kevlar lined, by the way. So he would have her weight, his weight, plus the Kevlar and everything that he's wearing. You fall back, you hit the back of your head on that metal sharp edge of an escalator stair, you could be dead instantly. And luckily, the Saboteur didn't stop it when it was like halfway up. As soon as they got their timing off. And they stopped it right away, but they could have killed him.
Well, we got to have a big investigation. Hopefully, Secret Service is on the ball and is going to find out who did it.
Yeah.
And if it was just so happened to be coincidental, then we'll give him some money again. But until then, let him go.
There's no coincidental. We had the sabotage of the escalator, sabotage of the teleprompter, and sabotage of the microphone. All 3. Come on.
Yeah, man. All ridiculous. I know. It's so apparent, but these people don't care, man. They're just nasty, nasty people. Anyway, it's just like, and then you bring out these women who are taking Tylenol. I mean, what are they going to do next to hurt their baby? I mean, I agree with you. They should be investigated. What are they going to do? They're going to go rock climbing or something next? And how's the baby going to feel when it gets older? Say, oh, yeah, my mother took a chance and I could have had autism, but
it's crazy.
I mean, these people, unbelievable. It's unbelievable that people could be this insane.
And then they brag about it online with videos.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know what's wrong with people, man. But
it's called liberalism. Liberalism, Trump derangement syndrome.
Man, they're giving some kind of drugs. I think there's got to be. How could people be this dumb, man? Something's wrong.
Insanity. All right, Doug, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by. Yeah, let me give Dr. Appleton's number out since I mentioned him there. 3 times he's treated me from shoulder pain, all of them from falls, and I'll tell you. They're not severe falls. They're just like a normal little fall off the skateboard. And boy, I'm pain free now. And don't forget, with Dr. Appleton, it's always a free consultation. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, and the consultation's free. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. All right, let me take a call here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. The masked lady, Louise in Boca.
What's up?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yes. Brian, regarding the autism situation.
Yeah, hold on while I answer all these lines. The lines are ringing. All right, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Louise.
Okay, regarding the autism.
That's better.
I have a theory, and I was thinking, what wasn't happening in my mom's generation or even my generation, that began going forward in other generations. Did they ever consider pot smoking, sniffing cocaine, drugs that started happening, which didn't happen in my mom's generation or even in mine, because I had my son quite young at 20. I mean, I wonder if that was ever investigated.
Well, I'm sure they've done all kinds of things, and they determined that Tylenol is a problem.
Well, I never heard anything about pot or cocaine or anything like that. How do we know that pregnant women weren't?
I mean, obviously, if you're doing that, you could have problems. But if you're smoking and cocaine is not something you're doing like 4 or 5 times a day. Hopefully.
Well, I'm just thinking, we had a large family, big family. Not one person ever had autism. Even in my generation, I asked friends. They never had autism in their family. But later on, it became
I don't know anyone in my family. I don't know anyone who has autism.
Yeah,
no
but
one in my
then
family either.
Going forward, they started with pot, cocaine, other illegal drugs. How do we know it wasn't that? I don't know how long.
I don't know, Louise, but all these top research facilities, Harvard, Johns Hopkins, and all they found this Tylenol.
I never heard that mentioned.
Well, you heard it this week. All right, Louise, I appreciate the call. You've heard it now. Okay. All right. Where are we? Hold on. Let me check the time when we're going to be back. 30. I've got 90 seconds. I'll wait until we get back to take another call because I don't want to have to be short. So if you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. So I don't want to have to rush you. We'll take the call when we get back. All right, hold on, guys. I've got so much going on here. People are texting me like crazy. "30 seconds, we'll be back." Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I don't know what happened. During the break, like everybody I know just decided to text me about things this morning, none of which have anything to do with the show. All right, let's go back to the phones. We've covered quite a bit, so everything we've covered so far is fair game. The number is 888-465-2631. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mark from Ohio.
Yes, Mark.
Hey, I got 2 questions for you, buddy. And how are you doing today, by the way?
I am doing very well. How are you?
I'm blessed. God is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
My question is, have you heard anything about Donald Trump giving Peter Thiel pretty much $1 billion to start social credit score system over here like China has?
No. Well, other than you just now.
Heard that?
Just from you just now. Other than you know.
Okay. I've read that in I don't know what article it was. So it could be, just a fib or whatever. So I just look at it as that until it comes out. Then I'll say, oh, okay.
You can't believe... Yeah, what's the next thing? Go ahead.
And one last thing is, okay, for the longest time, we conservatives would get mad when the left would cancel people for saying things. So how is it right if we think it's wrong for them to do it, but then we do it?
Well, who did we cancel?
Like, for instance, well, almost canceled. I'm not a Jimmy Kimmel fan. I don't even
what do you mean we almost
kind of stuff.
What do you mean we almost can't? How did we almost cancel?
He almost got canceled, didn't he?
By who?
Well, I'm sure Trump had a little bit to do with it.
Really?
Did he not?
What did Trump do that took Jimmy Kimmel off the air? And then when did he reverse whatever he did that allowed him to return to the air last night? I've missed both sides of that story.
I don't know what he did.
You know what he? I know what he did. I know what he did. Listen, he did nothing. It's a publicity stunt set up by Jimmy Kimmel, ABC, and his management. President Trump did nothing.
And you know that for sure?
Yes.
How do you know it?
Because if you follow all these stories, all right?
Right.
President Trump was asked 3 or 4 times about Jimmy Kimmel. He says he's got low ratings, that's why he's off. And the other ones are going to be following because they have low ratings too. None of the stories tell you any action that was taken by the FCC or President Trump that removed him from the air. ABC, in their statement announcing that they released a statement the day before yesterday that he was coming back last night. In the statement, ABC said, we made the decision to return him to the air Tuesday. We made the decision. Oh, I thought the government did it. I thought Trump did it. So even ABC admits that they took him off the air, not the president. Total fabrication. 100% fabrication.
Right. So, okay, we got that straightened out. I thank you so much, and I hope you have a very blessed day. And God be with you.
Well, thank you very much. All right, that's a good guy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bob from Denver, and there's some experts out there that show that Charlie Kirk was not shot by that high-powered rifle. It was something else.
Yeah.
And being that they're experts, I believe what they say over you.
Yeah.
Because you're a retard. But
okay. Oh, okay. So that's interesting. No. First of all, what you're asking.
If you had any knowledge of any gun, you know a 30-06 would have blown his head pretty much clear off. Correct?
He was shot in the chest.
Correct.
Excuse me. I'm trying to answer your idiotic question, okay? And respond to your statements, but you've got to stop talking and let me finish a sentence, okay? What you're asking everyone to do is to not believe their lying eyes. That guy, I wish I would not have seen it, but I saw it twice, okay? And you see the bullet hit him in the chest. Even from far away, you see it hit him in the chest. When you see the close-up, it ricochets off of something on his chest to his neck. It's right there. The neck injury, as bad as it was after it ricocheted. Bullets do weird things.
A 30-06 would not ricochet.
Oh, really? I did not know this. What is your background with guns? Since you're saying this with such definitive,
I have many of them, and
you have many of them. Okay, experts have said I have many guns too. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hey Brian. Good morning. Kaz from Pacific Northwest.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, can we bring up a Charlie Kirk thing?
Yeah, okay.
All right. I'm looking at this video of a second shooter for where he gets hit in the back of the head and his hair tosses up. And
Nonsense.
Okay.
This is so ridiculous. I mean, forget about this video. We saw it live, right? I mean, I saw it seconds after it happened. Okay, I saw it in less than 5 minutes after it happened. Less than 5 minutes the first time, and it's clear what happened. And then I saw it a second time about an hour later with the guy, maybe even less. I don't know. It was a rough day. And the close-up, which I really wish I wouldn't have seen the close-up. And it is what it is. In fact, the reason he's leaning... the reason he's leaning back is because he was shot from the front and pushed back. If he was hit with a round from the rear, which they're alleging was much closer because he had the tint and everything, the force would have knocked him forward. This is just... Listen, there's a lot of sick people out there that are trying to get views and everything off of this. There's no second gunman.
Granted.
This isn't the Kennedy assassination. This is what it is. Now, that doesn't mean that there wasn't... I do believe there was a conspiracy, that the shooter, even though he did it, is a patsy. I don't mean by patsy, I don't mean that he didn't do it. I think he was recruited into doing it by evildoers. Yeah. And by the way, Erica Kirk agrees, because when she did that announcement from the studio over the weekend, she said evildoers plural. So that, yeah, but no, there's no second gunman. There's no one from behind. No one from the trapdoor tunnel underneath that Candace Owens is peddling.
Yeah, I know. I saw that one too.
I mean, come on. I know.
This guy,
I know Charlie
Kirk. Bushman.
I don't care what they are.
Yeah.
Having Charlie Kirk conspiracy things is good for lots of attention right now, and people are doing that. It's nonsense.
I hear you, Brian. Great show. Nice shirt. Have a day, pal.
All right. Take care. Yes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, America. Hey, Brian. How are you, sir?
Hi.
Hey, what's your thoughts on Elon Musk now? Where
you gotta be more specific.
Wait, are you a little upset with him? Are you feeling like Trump and Elon are kind of probably going to make amends?
I hope they do.
Right
I hope that President Trump and Elon Musk get the band back together.
Exactly. I think they work well together.
But even though they met at the funeral, okay, President Trump seemed to shoo him away. If you saw the end, he didn't keep him there.
Oh, is that right? Okay, I didn't see that part. No, I only saw the nice part where they shook hands.
Yeah, I saw that, but later on he kind of shooed him away, it seemed to me. He didn't keep him there. He left.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what Elon said was kind of...
I'll give you an example at funerals. You guys hear me make fun of Joyce Kaufman all the time, who sucks on the air? We were at a funeral, and we hugged each other. Joyce and I gave each other a hug at a funeral. It was years ago, but... we got a few that's been going on for 25 years, and we hugged at a funeral. I mean, funerals, do things.
Yeah. You got to put your differences aside. There's a greater cause at that moment.
Yeah.
And God bless Charlie and his family, and may his message live on forever and always.
All right, take care. Appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by. If you or someone you know or love have neuropathy, listen up. I want to talk about Lighthouse Medical. And also, I'm going to go through the symptoms of neuropathy. If you have any of these symptoms, you may have neuropathy and don't even know it. And you can get an examination at Lighthouse Medical. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance? You getting dizzy? You falling down? Do you have the feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe no feeling at all. Well, if you answered it, you might have neuropathy. And, Lighthouse Medical, if you're a listener to the Steve Kane Show, offer free, no-charge consultations, okay? Furthermore, if you have neuropathy and you know it, you can take advantage of the no-charge consultation. But if you think you might have neuropathy because you have some of these symptoms, you want to call them too. Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy, a treatment that works, and a treatment that lasts. Steve had all these symptoms, and he had them pretty hardcore. He went to Lighthouse Medical, had his treatment over 3 years ago. They rid him of neuropathy, and over 3 years later, his neuropathy has not returned. Also, Lighthouse Medical can help you no matter where you're located in the United States. Give them a call, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back.
gasoline prices are way down. You know, we have an expression, drill.
Nós reduzimos os custos de energia porque
that are
Okay. We'll be back shortly, guys. I don't know why everybody and their brother is sending me text messages today. It's I don't know why. During the show. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll take the calls after the break. We'll be back in about a minute. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Florida's longest running radio show. Call us on hold, standby. We've covered a lot today. Our number is 888-465-2631. Everybody I know has been texting me today during the show, which I don't mind getting text during the show, but I'm getting text overload, and I'm trying to communicate with things that involve the show. But one friend of mine, I'm glad I checked this text. I can't play it for you on the air, and I'll tell you why. We were talking about the sabotage that the president received at the UN. Okay? Number one was the escalator. They could have killed him with the escalator. Then his teleprompter went out mid-speech, trying to embarrass him, but he can go off the top of his head. Then we found out from Katie Pavlich that they had his microphone volume down very low, much lower than the other leaders who spoke before him and after. And then someone had called me earlier in the program and said that while they were watching on television, I was watching online, I didn't see, but while they were watching on television, all of a sudden, you heard the voice of not President Trump, but the Russian translator. So that's the fourth sabotage. And a friend of mine sent me the video of the Russian speaker. And sure enough, President Trump's up there speaking, and then all of a sudden, you don't hear the president, you hear the Russian speaking as if he's a Russian now. Now, the reason I'm not playing the video is because I don't understand Russian. So I don't know what the guy's saying. So I don't know if it's safe for radio, okay? But, I mean, that's the escalator, the teleprompter, the microphone, and now the Russian speaking while he's speaking. You hear the translator. At least it sounds like Russian. It could be one of those other languages that are similar to that, like Ukrainian. I don't know. But come on. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Ben from Pompano.
Hey, Ben. Oh, my goodness. Just a lot of roughness going on.
Yeah, I actually wanted to address that. So the people who reflexively believe anything is a conspiracy theory because they think they're so smart, anything that is at odds with the mainstream narrative, you somehow discovered something that other people didn't. Listen, I'm as distrustful as the government as anyone else, but that doesn't mean they're always wrong, especially when it's Trump's government. You have to understand, his wife, Erica Kirk, demanded to see the body after when he was brought to the medical examiner or when he was in the hospital in Utah. The police advised her not to see it, but she said, I want to see what they did to my husband. So what you're suggesting is this woman who was deeply in love with him, who was with him for 7 years, 9 years, is somehow in on it, right? Because she saw the body, she saw the wounds, and you're now saying that she's lying, okay? Kash Patel, great friends with Charlie Kirk. He has said he is addressing every lingering question, and they're going to follow each lead to the very end so they have a comprehensive investigation. So that means everyone who loved Charlie faked it for years and years and years just so when he gets killed, they can all lie to us about it.
Yeah.
Please, get off the internet. Your brains are rotting, and you're making fools of yourself. I understand after COVID, after everything the Biden administration did, after the first Trump term, it's very, very hard to trust institutions. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be judicious or discerning, because you sound like absolute fools when you think you know what's going on, when really none of us know completely what's going on. We don't have all the pieces.
Well, one thing I think we do know, though, that there was a conspiracy to sabotage the president at the United Nations yesterday. There's too many things went wrong. And they went wrong for no one else.
Yeah. You know what? The second, and I mean the second he stepped on that escalator, it stopped.
Yeah.
Like someone was waiting to push the button. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like he was halfway up. He stepped on and it went up 2 steps and then it stopped. That is a insanely...
I got a call, like, because, I start the show about 45 minutes early online before we're on the radio in the mornings, and I take calls like I do now. This liberal guy calls me up laughing. He says, it was Trump's videographer. I've seen the video, right? Just like they've all seen the video of Charlie Kirk saying black people can't fly airplanes. There's no video of this. They've started a false narrative that Trump's people are responsible for all of this. Nonsense. Don't believe any of that. And there was a conspiracy because there's too many different things. Escalator, teleprompter, microphone volume, and now the language went to Russian briefly while he was speaking. So, these are different people that are running different things. So, if he would have fallen backwards on that escalator, J.D. Vance could have been the president right now. Okay, that's very dangerous.
Not even that. The fact that the president's movements are tightly coordinated from start to finish at every event. If for some reason he stops moving, he becomes a target for a possibly would-be assassin.
That's correct.
So the fact that if he's on an escalator and it just stops, that's incredibly dangerous. And so, it's not just a falling back, which is a real risk at his age. I mean, he's still sprite as ever, but still, when you're in your 70s, it's, you can't just, you don't move like you used to.
Yeah.
And so, that's a real risk to his health. The fact is, he's been calling out globalists for years. That's one of the main reasons I support him, because I think the biggest threat to our sovereignty is globalists. And, who is the biggest globalist entity in the world? It's the UN. UN is a complete joke. It's useless. It's ineffectual. Everything. That was one of the greatest burn speeches I've ever heard, because from start to finish, he was just reading them.
Every moment of it was amazing. Even when he was talking about the construction, that was amazing. I mean, the whole thing. It was.
I know. I was listening to it while I was working out yesterday, and the whole time I'm like, just shaking my head in disbelief about how this guy keeps topping himself. I can't get used to how. You just think Trump can't surprise you anymore, and he does. It's great. But, you're absolutely right. It was complete danger, and I think if we don't make efforts to remove ourselves from the UN entirely, I'm going to be very disappointed, because clearly
let me tell you, all UN funding and support by this country should be suspended until these people that did this are brought to justice. They should be arrested for what they did.
Yeah,
what
but
you said
remember
about the
when
escalator
Bruce-
is true. You know, you guys, you know, I used to go, in President Trump's first term, I used to go and watch him coming from Air Force One to Mar-a-Lago all the time, and he would slow down and wave. The last time I went up there, I made a YouTube video. He came by me in the Beast. It was going full speed down the road, not like it used to be, down the street from Mar-a-Lago, because he's got to be, because they shot him. They just killed Charlie Kirk, right? You know, I mean, this is, I mean, that was, that, as far as I'm concerned, you know, the president's got a Kevlar vest on. The suit could be Kevlar lined as well. And with all that weight falling back could have killed him yesterday. This is a very serious thing, and it is not funny, and it's not some prank. They did this to humiliate him and our country. And he was the only president, only world leader that had any problems, and he had all these different ones. Come on.
Yeah, I know. You think that would have happened under Obama? Give me a break. So, anyway, that's all I got for now. I got to go,
All right,
Brian.
take care. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. Oh, man. Friendly Tire's been with us for many years on the program. You'll find the lowest prices on new tires anywhere. Okay, he's got all the name brands you know and love, you know, and you can get brand new tires, brand new, out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. And by the way, that's for common-sized tires on some of the most common vehicles on the road. I don't want you guys to think I'm talking about a Fiat that has tires like the size of a golf cart. I'm talking about some of the most popular cars on the road. These tires fit $75 as low as out the door and on the road. And when I say out the door and on the road, Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or dispose of your old tire, okay? Remember that when you call. I'm going to give you the number in a moment. He also has thousands of good used tires in stock as well. And he does tire repairs. His number, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. Make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. He'll take extra good care of you. All right, we have covered a lot today of important stuff so far. We got 1 hour to go. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. Steve Kane will be joining us, and we'll be taking your calls. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. The big 50 will be here in a year. Can you believe that? 49 years. That's a long time. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. Come back with Steve Kane and your calls. I'm Brian Craig. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. It was ringing busy. What was that? Hey, yeah, the phone was ringing busy. Were you on it? No. Okay. Okay, hold on for just a second. I'll pull you up on the speaker in a minute. Hold on. Okay, we got just about 90 seconds. We'll be back.
All right.
Hold on. Oh, my goodness. All right, hold on.
Thank you.
All right, hold on, guys, hold on. 10 seconds. All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. The third hour has begun. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Oh, man, Steve, lot has happened since yesterday.
49 glorious years, yes. It's unbelievable what's going on.
Oh, my.
Who is the they, by the way, you're referring to? You come in the middle of that discussion with your last caller.
You're talking about
all the trouble at the UN yesterday and all that.
Well, there was
the they?
That we're not sure of. Caroline Leavitt told Jesse Waters last night they're launching a Secret Service investigation to find out who they are. But there was a series of sabotage that occurred to President Trump that no other leader experienced yesterday. The first, I'll go through them real quick, okay? The first was the escalator stopping when he and Melania stepped on it. That was number one. Number two, when he was speaking, the teleprompter went out in the middle of the speech.
I saw that.
Okay.
I watched the speech. I saw that.
Yeah. So, but he can free associate. He does that all the time in the rallies. Number three, Katie Pavlich. You guys know her from Fox News. Katie Pavlich reported that they turned the president's mic volume incredibly low. On television, it sounded normal, but if you were in the chamber, it was very low and faint, lower than any of the other leaders before or after. And then four, in the middle of his speech, at some point, and I've seen the video of this, they cut off the president's mic, and you heard the voice of the Russian translator speaking Russian while President Trump was speaking. So on some outlets, on some news stations, they were listening all of a sudden to someone briefly speaking Russian. So obviously there was some attempt to disrupt and embarrass him. In fact, on Sunday, right? Because this happened yesterday, which was today's Wednesday, right? This happened yesterday, Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. So this all happened yesterday, Tuesday. On Sunday, the Times of London had a story. They had talked to some UN workers who were joking around that they were going to stop the escalator with him on it as a joke. And then it happened. And then these other things happened. So, no, he was definitely sabotaged. And the Secret Service is investigating, according to Caroline Leavitt. It's disgusting. So that's what we were talking about. Well, it's dangerous. I mean, if you're on a moving escalator and it stops suddenly, you could fall.
There's no question of that.
And that could kill you on the metal steps. So they were trying to get him to trip or fall to humiliate him possibly. Whatever it was bad.
The UN, of course, is denying that.
Yeah, and they're trying to get a false narrative going that Trump's people stopped the escalator and did.
All right, that's things. One of the items on the table. Let me ask you another question, because I stayed up. I was as usual in front of the television all day yesterday. By the way, that performance that Don gave at the UN was nothing short of spectacular.
It was the best UN speech in history.
It was like unbelievable. Just every day.
He reprimanded them.
Reaches new heights.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other question I wanted to ask you, because I've not been able to locate it since I got up this morning, what is the status of Jimmy Kimmel?
He's back on.
What happened with that?
He's back on.
Well, what happened? Did anybody watch it?
I this morning, before I went on the air, I watched his unfunny monologue.
Oh, well, how did he handle it?
He talked a little bit about free speech and pretended to cry without tears over Charlie Kirk. But that's, it was.
Did he back off a little? Was he a little nicer?
No, he even made some, it was, now I see why he's so lowly rated. He got a bump last night because everyone wants to check him out, but no one's going to go back to that boredom. Except liberals.
No, he's terrible.
No, he's got no talent. I mean, it used to be Johnny Carson was the only game in town. Then he got followed by Letterman, who came on right after him, and they were funny. And then Arsenio came around in the 80s, and he was unique and funny. And now they just go out and, say terrible things about Trump, and the liberal crowd erupts in laughter. It's like a mob. It's very strange. Yeah. I don't know what passes as comedy these days, but it can't be that.
Well, I don't know. The hits keep coming.
Well, we're the ones that are winning, and of course the. And Trump...
how do you like the guy, the would-be assassin, trying to stab himself with a pencil after the verdict was read? That was a little shocking.
Yeah, I know. Please.
I mean, you wouldn't believe it if you saw it in a movie.
Anyone who represents themselves is insane and guilty, right? Remember, Ted Bundy represented himself in Miami. When people represent themselves, they're usually crazy, but definitely guilty. The innocent never represent themselves, only the guilty. And the cases
the daughter was a piece of that killer, the one that they were trying for the attempted assassination on Trump. The daughter, that was what a piece of work she is.
Well, okay, here's a cool thing though. They came back with a verdict like in 5 or 10 minutes, right? They say it took 45 minutes to an hour, but 40 minutes of that time was, okay, who's got to go pee? So they take a bathroom break, right? Then they got to hand out all the forms. Then they got to read through the rules of the deliberations, right? And do all that stuff. They deliberated for 5 or 10 minutes of real deliberations. Yeah. That was it. They took a vote. That was it. So, and this is something I want to point out to you guys. I told you guys this when this started. This is an awesome thing. This Trump assassin from the golf course who was convicted yesterday of all counts at the Fort Pierce Courthouse, St. Lucie County. This courthouse, their jury pool is the most MAGA jury pool in America. St. Lucie.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. St. Lucie County? Absolutely. That area includes St. Lucie, Martin, and Okeechobee counties. These are the most MAGA places in the MAGA state of Florida, okay? And I told you guys, there's no doubt. If this trial had been in New York City, do you think they would have had a guilty verdict on all counts, Steve, in New York City?
I hesitate to think what it would have been like.
He'd be a free man today, probably, or Northern Virginia or D.C., but this is St. Lucie County, baby. The federal courthouse in St. Lucie County, the most MAGA jury pool in America. Well, that same courthouse, there's something else going on there that no one talked about yesterday. Pam Bondi has a grand jury in that courthouse for these Obama coup conspirators. The Comey, Brennan, Clapper grand jury is in that same courthouse. The grand jury pool is the same pool of people that they got on the jury for the assassin case. So this is where you want to be, right?
That sounds promising.
We got good jurors there, right? We got good jurors who do give just verdicts, and I'm looking forward. I can't wait for the Pam Bondi grand jury in that same court. There's at least one grand jury in that courthouse that's a Pam Bondi grand jury. She may have multiple grand juries in that courthouse, but she has at least one. And so this is awesome stuff. It's a good jury pool, St. Lucie County. And, that's within our listening area on the radio, and, one of our radio stations is in that area. So those of you in St. Lucie County, Martin County, and Okeechobee County who may have made your way to that jury, that was the first just jury we've had in any case involving Trump like this in a long time, because these other juries are just fake juries. They put these things together. It's crazy.
It's amazing.
I want to tell everyone about Lighthouse Medical and neuropathy, and this. And I talked about this earlier, but now that you're here, Steve, you had neuropathy. This was over 3 years ago. You had neuropathy so bad, you said, "I don't know if I'm going to be able to go on the cruise." Remember? You're like, "I can't get out." You couldn't get out of bed.
Do.
Yeah. And we found Lighthouse Medical in Pompano. Your primary care physician told you there's no treatment for neuropathy. You begged.
So that's the convention, what they would call the conventional wisdom. That there's no cure for neuropathy.
Yeah, and he didn't even want to send you to a specialist. He said it's a waste of time, but because of your suffering and begging and pleading and persuasion, just to get you out of his hair, he sent you to a neurologist who's a specialist. And the neurologist told you there's no treatment for neuropathy, which it floored me. I couldn't believe.
I was at the end of my rope, no question of that.
Now, I wouldn't say that your doctors are liars. They just don't know. They don't know. They're not. They're not. And I think that's true with most doctors out there. They're just not educated. Lighthouse Medical in Pompano has a treatment for neuropathy, a treatment that works. It rids you of all your neuropathy symptoms, and a treatment that lasts because it's been over 3 years and your neuropathy symptoms haven't returned. So if you or a loved one have neuropathy, give them a call. It's a free consultation if you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. Now, they're located in Pompano, but if you can't make it to the office in person, you can do everything over the phone with telemedicine too. And that means if you're local, Lighthouse, they understand that if you have neuropathy, you might not be able to get out of the house, right? You might be bedbound. But no matter where you're located in the United States, Lighthouse Medical can help you. Or for that matter, Canada too. Give them a call no matter where you are. 754-222-6642. You've seen with Steve, your neuropathy over 3 years, it has not returned. 754.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. I gotta call Barry.
All right.
Hold on. Hey, Barry, it's Brian. Oh, okay, good. So we'll have you today, tomorrow, and Friday. Okay, great. I just want to make sure. Okay, hold on. All right, Steve, you there?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to conference in Barry. We're still in...
Can you hear me?
Yeah. We're still in break, but hold on. I'm going to... well, I'm not going to get Barry yet. We got a little time. Hold on. Okay, hold on, Steve. I got to get Barry. Okay, Steve, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm going to conference Barry in. Hold on. All right, Barry, we have about 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve's here. On the line, Steve, we have your attorney, Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Steve and Brian?
Good morning, Barry.
Nice to hear you from both of you.
Absolutely.
Today I wanted to talk about the fact that we do reviews. We'll do reviews of current estate plans of your listeners. So anybody who wants to come in and have a free review of your current documents, we will do that. We do free reviews every 3 years for our clients. And one of the things that's important about the review, it's not just reviewing the documents themselves that you already have, but it's also about reviewing, if you have a living trust, it's very important to make sure that it's funded properly, because a revocable living trust needs to actually hold the assets to have to gain the benefits that it provides. One of the key benefits, not the only one, but one of them that people are concerned about is avoiding probate. And if you don't have your assets in your revocable living trust, then your assets could end up going through probate just to get into the trust, and then the trust needs to be administered. So you have to go through two different levels of administration there if you don't properly fund it. So that is why we review the funding, and the funding is so important. You got to make sure, for example, your real estate gets funded through a deed. A deed is the instrument that is used to transfer the ownership of your real estate from your name or your name and your spouse's name into your trust. And then there's paperwork, transfer letters that need to be prepared and presented to the financial institution in order to get those assets into the trust. By doing that second important part, you will have a revocable living trust plan and an estate plan that works, one that is going to help you avoid probate, avoid guardianship, and protect your loved ones.
Yeah, and by the way, that no-charge review of your documents, that's even if they were done by another attorney or law firm. Now, Barry, when you talk about funding, you're talking about real estate, but what are some of the other things? It's not just real estate. When you say funding, it's not just really money. What are other things that have to be in that trust or they go through probate other than property?
Well, really any assets that somebody would have. So, people besides owning real estate would own bank accounts, brokerage accounts, and even life insurance policies, even their businesses.
Wow.
All of those assets can and should go into the trust so that they won't go through the probate process.
Wow.
Now, somebody might say, well, I thought life insurance doesn't go through probate, and they'd be right, because life insurance has a beneficiary designation on it. But when you do the bloodline protection, by putting it into the trust, you're going to be able to set it up so that those life insurance death benefits will go to your beneficiaries in a way where it's better protected from creditors, lawsuits, and even divorces.
That's
to
right.
make sure it stays in your family bloodline.
Or your wife's next husband and his kids that you don't even know, right?
Yeah, it could end up going to other family bloodlines that you didn't even aren't even on your radar at this point.
Exactly. Listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call, and you can tell this is the great kind of counsel you get from Attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group. 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk tomorrow.
All right. Take care, Brian. Take care, Steve.
All right. You take care.
You take care.
All right. Steve, you back with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'm going to call this phone the testosterone phone because, Steve, you got this new phone and your voice is so deeper and richer and louder in this phone. It's just...
Well, you made my day, you flatterer.
No, it's a testosterone phone. I mean, I don't know if maybe it gets it in your ear or your mouth. I don't know, but somehow that phone... maybe I should get one of those phones, make my voice deeper. Oh, boy. All right, our number's 888-465-2631. You want to take some calls?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jesse, Ohio.
Jesse, what's up?
Hey, I just wanted to, actually, I kind of wanted to ask you a question, but I just wanted to say a statement about all these, progressives on here who are all of a sudden weapons experts after one episode of Rick Maldo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying, I find it funny that some moron retard calls in and says bullets don't ricochet after just one episode of Richard Maddow on MSNBC. But I wanted to ask if you've ever heard of the Supreme Court ruling Church of Holy Trinity v. United States.
No.
So if you look it up, and this is something I like to spread to all my Christian brothers and sisters out there, if you look it up, it was an 1890s ruling by the Supreme Court where they ruled that the United States is a Christian nation. In fact, even Wikipedia acknowledges that the Supreme Court ruling says that we are a Christian nation. So anybody sitting there saying that, well, my Congress can't make a law stating we're Christian. Well, the Supreme Court already ruled that we are.
Well,
so
Steve and I have talked about for years about writing a book, and the title would be Liberal Urban Legends. And and there's a lot of them. And we should have written that book 20 years ago, Steve, because there's new ones that are created all the time that we could add to it. We could have we could have a new edition every year. But and maybe I'll write that book one day. I don't know, But this thing about
my sister's working on it.
Good. This thing about the country being a Christian nation, that what they usually point to is, well, Thomas Jefferson had a Koran, and that means, well, the Barbary pirates were Muslims. We were at war in the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli from the Marine Corps hymn. We were at war with Muslim pirates during his presidency, and they didn't have an NSA back then. So he went and found the Quran and read it so he could understand these. They're called the Barbary pirates, but these Muslim pirates. But they grab onto. It's important to point out that this is a Christian nation, which, by the way, Judeo-Christian. I don't want to offend our Jewish listeners out there, especially in a Holy Week. But
I disagree with you. I disagree with you. You actually look up the phrase Judeo.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Christianity is Judaism. But here's the thing about it. Our rights are given to us by God, not men. And it's important to highlight that, because if men give you your rights, they can take them away. And our rights were given to us by God. That's what it tells us in the Constitution, and that's why it's important to highlight that. So,
well, I agree with you that according to the Constitution, we do get our rights from God, but I don't believe in rights. Rights aren't a real thing. They're just simply what we can enforce upon our brothers.
Like right now, you're getting too cerebral for 8:24 in the morning. I'm sorry. But hey, listen, I appreciate the call. All right, take care. Oh, my goodness. That sounds like a lecture at Hillsdale College coming. I can't tolerate that, Steve. All right, let's take another call. Let's see here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, gentlemen. This is Greg.
Oh, hey, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
Hey. Yeah. Listen, Brian and Steve, I'd like to address two topics with you. First and foremost, I think it's despicable, reprehensible about these Charlie Kirk calls you've been receiving. It's these theories, and by the way, I will never listen to Candace Owens ever again. They're throwing out this ridiculous, theories that it was under a trap door or someone, he was shot from behind. These callers are sick people.
Yes.
And I think you should ban them. You should say, let Charlie Kirk, let him rest in peace, let his family recover. I think you should set a boundary and say, listen, you want to throw out this garbage, you're banned from the program.
Now, there are people that don't want us taking your calls. Now, the calls are screenless, and we vet them on the air. We screen them live on the air, so,
Well, but there is a point of, where you, in my opinion, set a boundary. And let's go to the UN. What is going on with the Secret Service? In light of Charlie Kirk being assassinated, being assassinated, Charlie Kirk, Trump has already had 2 attempts, which I wouldn't say this was an attempt. I think that's a bit over the top. But anyone that has any nexus, any connection with the president should be vetted, should be talk to and watch.
Greg, let me tell you about the Secret Service, okay? This is what I've come to realize. There's a lot of hype about them being an elite team of guys. They suck. They got Trump shot, and then how long after was the golf course? The Secret Service man who fired at the golf course shooter fired 5 rounds and missed every time. And we know about the other shootings. And I was watching over the weekend. I watched In the Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood. Remember that movie?
Great movie. Yes, great movie.
And I watched it with a different eye than I did the first time I saw it in the theater all those years ago, because they shot President Trump and then this trial's going. He plays a guy who was on Kennedy's private detail in Dallas. This movie came out in the 90s, so he was on Kennedy's detail. Yeah. And because of the assassination, he had been put back in the criminal division working on counterfeiters and stuff. And he had lived all these years with the shame of his failure of letting Kennedy get shot. The story goes that he was his favorite agent. And now they're a team of elite people. They've never been elite. They're government workers and they suck. It's all a lot of PR and hype. Right. And this thing yesterday, as an example, the president could have been killed on that escalator from the fall if it would have happened, or being not in movement in that time. And it's just failure after failure after failure. From the Secret Service. They suck. He needs, who he needs?
I agree.
He needs like a Navy SEAL team or something around him.
You need to bring some of these ICE agents. You see, these guys, they look like they know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
You need to recruit some men like that. But you know what? You're right. As far as that Clint Eastwood movie, John Malkovich, by the way, is one of the most underrated actors.
He's the assassin.
You never hear of him.
That's great. He's great in that.
Yeah.
Great performer. One of the great villains of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But we need, Trump for future Republican presidents, because we're going to have a few of them down the line. They need to revamp the Secret Service. Seriously, start firing people. Remember they got caught in that hotel with hookers and drugs or whatever,
yes.
And a bunch of them
I remember
got
when George W. Bush was president. I can't remember where this was. I want to say Brazil, but it may not have been Brazil. President Trump was walking into a place, and it was out of the country, and the crowd got out of control, and President Bush rescued, G.W. Bush, he rescued a Secret Service agent from the crowd. And it was on TV live. I couldn't believe it. They suck. You know who should be in charge of the Secret? You know who should be in charge of presidential protection? Pete Hegseth. This crap wouldn't happen with Pete Hegseth in charge. The Department of War.
I agree with that. Transfer. And one last comment, if I may. Listen, the UN, we need to get rid of it. Let it go over to Europe. Let's get that building back to America. You know what it cost us to protect all these leaders that come in there, to do nothing except give speeches that are meaningless? The UN, we need to say who wants it. Rome, Paris or whatever, you can take it over.
All right, Greg, this is the second. Have
a good day, guys.
Before you go, this is the second call 2 days in a row where we're agreeing on everything. All right, have you been red-pilled? What's happened to you? You're agreeing with me.
No. You just misjudged me, Brian. That's all. Okay. But we'll be adversaries once again once I hear some of your commentary.
All right. Take care, Greg. 2 days in a row we've agreed on everything.
Telling you not to get spoiled.
Today after the show, when we get off the air, I'm going to it. I have a doctor's appointment with a new sponsor here on the radio station. And
really,
yeah. After the appointment, I'll call you. And I'm really excited because this is my first medical appointment of any kind since I lost all this weight with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. and I'll tell you guys, if not tomorrow or Friday next week, about this appointment that I'm going to today. And my wife was telling me, she's like, "Oh man, I'm glad you lost all this weight before this appointment, Brian. You're gonna have a better report because of it." And there's no doubt about it. And Steve, I added 4 hours, we're now a 4-hour show in the mornings, right? I do an hour off the air. I start at 5:15 in the morning and go late, And right. I was afraid and it's sponsored by MyPillow, and I was afraid I wouldn't be able to do it. But since I've lost all this weight, I have so much more energy, and it's all natural, And my results are typical. With Coastal Weight Loss Secret, you can lose 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days, and it's easy. And now I've been in the maintain phase for the last couple of months. I haven't gained 1 ounce back. because with the Coastal Weight Loss Secret, there's no big lifestyle changes to lose the weight. Give them a call. Take advantage of the free consultation, and they can help you no matter where we are. Steve, we have listeners all over the United States who have literally lost a ton of weight. Literally. Okay, not figuratively, with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. I'm going to put you on hold for a minute, Steve. I'll be right back. Steve, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, hold on. We're still in break. We got about 90 seconds.
90 seconds.
Yeah. Oh. All right, 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right. We are back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. If you're on hold, stand by. You know, I'm sure you've known people like this, Steve, in broadcasting. This is what Jimmy Kimmel's trying to... There's some people that that are on the air. They usually are people that suck. And so they start acting like people don't want them on the air because of what they're saying. And without mentioning any names, please, Steve, like I remember at a radio station that we used to work at, I remember there used to be I went into work one day and there was a personal bodyguard, security guard for one of the on-air people. And I'm like, what's this all about? And they were supposedly getting all these threats and everything, you know, and that's kind of what Jimmy Kimmel's trying to pull with this publicity stunt. The things he's saying are so outrageous and controversial. The powers that be don't want them heard. And
I'd still like to find out what the hell he said last night.
Nothing, less than nothing. He pretended to cry over Charlie Kirk for a moment, the tearless crying, and just talked about himself. I mean, he's got nothing. He's got no jokes.
He wasn't hostile towards the memory of Kirk.
He said, I didn't mean to say anything about that young man that got killed. Yeah, please. It was, I mean, you know, give me a break. He didn't. He said nothing. He really said nothing. And, you know, no one is stopping Jimmy Kimmel from saying anything because he doesn't say anything. I watched his monologue, and I will tell you, it was the first time I've seen a Jimmy Kimmel full monologue. I've seen clips here and there over the years online. He's got nothing.
Was he snarky at all? Was he aggressive at all towards...
Not really. No, there was nothing there. Like, it wasn't like Jay Leno or Carson or Letterman. They come out and they're funny or have something interesting to say or clever to say. He just basically said, I'm here, I'm back, stand and applaud, I am here. He wanted...
And that was it?
You want to talk about an ego. It's one thing, you know, I've known people in the entertainment world, and you have too, that have egos. And with rare exceptions, my experience has been the egos are the less the talent, the bigger the ego, right? The people with...
You can say that.
Yeah, the bigger the ego, they have less talent. The more normal they are, the greater the talent. And I think that, this is just from my personal experience, and this is one of the reasons you and I have gotten along so well over the years. I'm not saying that Steve and I have never gotten into it, okay? Sometimes on the air. But
we've gotten into it.
But we don't have those but we don't have like the ego conflicts, right? You know, and that's very rare in this business, because when you're good, you're secure about it. When you have ego problems, they oftentimes compensate with overblown, holier than thou egos. Got to roll out the red carpet because they're all that, you know. And Jimmy Kimmel, Steve, I got to tell you, there was nothing there in that monologue. I was shocked because I would have come out. He had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off, and then all day Tuesday.
So what you're saying is he tried to pretend the whole thing didn't happen?
No, he pretended to cry in the monologue. I didn't mean to make light of that young man that died. It was so fake.
Nobody sounded better than that.
If I were in his position, I would have called Jay Leno, Chris Rock, Wanda Sykes, Roseanne Barr, and the best comedy writers on my team, and we would have spent the weekend writing the best damn monologue that anybody had ever seen in late night. And it looked to me like he was winging it. I couldn't believe that is, and I'm not saying he was winging it.
Well, that's right. Because he was. Well, he was going through the motions.
Yeah, it was pathetic.
He just treated it as something he had to get past, and evidently it sounded like it from what you're saying.
Yeah. You know, when you're out there saying that I'm so good, they don't want me to talk publicly. You come out and you knock it out of the park. You don't come out with nothing. I mean, it was bad. That's just my opinion. Now, again, I'm not a Jimmy Kimmel fan. I know the liberals are going to love it because they want
let's see what they have to say.
I will. The number is, hold on, I got to put you on hold for a second, Steve. Our number is 888-465-2631. Do you want to take some calls now, or what do you want to do, Steve?
Sure.
All right, let's take a couple calls before the gold report. We hit another record high yesterday in gold, Steve.
Oh, I didn't know. In fact, they're predicting $1,700. I'm sure William will talk about it this morning.
Okay, we'll see. I hope not $1,700, because that'd be a dramatic fall. But it was $1,700 not that long ago, and now we're at numbers that are just astronomical. All right, anyway, but that we'll find out coming up in a few minutes. Let's take some calls first. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian and Steve. This is Barbara in Baltimore.
Hey, Barbara.
I'd like to give a shout out to My Pillow. They're the best pillows. I'm so glad they're sponsoring you. I have the mattress topper, the slippers, the pillows, and they're absolutely wonderful.
Great.
I watched President Trump yesterday completely and just majestically laid out the UN. It was so
brilliant.
To watch it. it's a speech that is, among others.
He reprimanded them. It was, you know what it was like, Barbara? It was like when he talked to the NATO leaders in his first term and he ripped them. It was the same thing.
He ripped them, but in such a calm, it was just methodical. It was just so on point. He was just so brilliant. And I don't know what happened after that because I didn't watch anything else. The UN, and I'm not a favorite. I would love to see that whole area down there turned into really beautiful business office suites or something, because the traffic jams in the city when they're around is ridiculous. But in any event, I love our president, and he did such a wonderful job. And I just wanted to say that because I think it's beautiful, and hopefully the UN will leave. I would love to see.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah,
it would be awesome. But you have a great day, and
all right,
we'll keep that's my pillows because I'm telling you, everybody got to get one. If you don't have a my pillow,
with the promo code Kane at checkout, of course, KANE.
Always.
All right, take care, Barbara. All right, you know, I think, Steve, we're the only show where the listeners and the callers do the commercials. And you know, and they've gotten pretty good at it too, right? I mean, some of them are really good. Yeah, I know. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about the Sloman Shield Link, and then we'll go to the Gold Report. You know, this Shield Link is really cool. You know, all your devices in your house, you can hook up to the Sloman Shield Link. Your TV, your computers, your lights, your thermostat, everything. So, like, this is a cool thing. Like, you leave your house, you turn your alarm on, you can have it adjust your thermostat so you're not wasting electricity while you're gone, or turn your lights on so when you come home and if it's after dark, the lights are on and the TV's on. Everything. It's absolutely amazing. And here's a couple cool things about it. With the Sloman Shield Link, it works on all the devices you already have in your house. And here's the other thing. They'll connect it all for you, and they have 24/7 support. So, like, what I mean by that 24/7 support, if it's Saturday night, Sunday morning at 2:45 a.m. and you want to add the lights on your back porch to the Sloman Shield Link, you can call them and they'll walk you through it. They'll do it for you. It's a cool thing. Give them a call. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. I got to call William. Okay, hold on.
All right.
Hey there. It'll be about a minute, and I'll be back at you. Hold on. Okay. Steve, you there?
I'm here.
Okay. See? Told you.
Am I there?
Yeah, you're
there.
Can
you hear me?
Yeah, I told you. The new phone works really good.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. It's a good start.
Okay. I'm going to conference William in. Okay, hold on. All right. William, you there?
Yep.
Okay, we got about 30 seconds. Steve, you there?
Okay. Yes, I am.
Okay, 30 seconds. All right, welcome back. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane's here, and it's time, as we do each morning at this time, to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated. with the morning gold and precious metals report. William Youngman, how the metals looking on this Wednesday?
This Wednesday brings us to amazing movement in the precious metals. Yesterday we saw another historic record high for gold, hitting $3,791 on the high, trading in a range of $3,736 all the way up to $3,791 before pulling back a little bit to close up $17.40 at $3,763.10 the ounce, but $3,791 high for gold. Silver hitting $44.50 before closing down 4 cents at $43.96. But look at that, $44.50. That's the highest silver price we've seen in years. Platinum gained $58 yesterday at $1,472 after getting over $1,500 at one point. Palladium gaining $34, closing out the day at $1,200 after hitting a high of $1,252. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $3,750 on the low, all the way up to $3,780. Right now, gold at $3,765, $3,765 the ounce. That's up $1.90 from yesterday's close. Silver, $44 right now. That's up 4 cents. Platinum up $8 at $1,480. And palladium up $6 at $1,206. So the markets continue to make new highs, and gold is certainly the place to be. Gold and silver.
Let me ask: so $50 silver? That's like realistic, right? Gold. That's coming. I mean, we're doing so well, and I'm looking at the gold. I mean, are we going to see 4,000 on gold anytime, William Youngman? I mean, these numbers are crazy. We've hit a new high like 3 days in a row.
Yeah, as you remember, we predicted 3,700 earlier on this year, and then for the year-end high, we think that gold could hit a high of $4,000.
And what about silver over the next year, 6 months?
Silver's our goal for silver this year is around $50, $48 to $50. So if we see $4,000 gold, we'll definitely see $50 silver.
Remember when it was $11, Steve? Silver.
Well, absolutely. I'll never forget the day.
Oh, my goodness.
Nor will you.
Yeah. All right, listen, William Youngman opens up at 10 a.m. Stop in, if you can, at his shop in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. Give him a call. He opens up at 10 a.m., toll-free 800-327-5010. 800-327-5010, and online, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
Thank you. You too. All right, Steve, you want to take some more calls?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bruce from Lake Worth. Good morning, guys.
Hey, what's up?
Good morning.
Morning. Tylenol, I don't know if this is really widely publicized, but Tylenol has become the #1 liver killer, and it has surpassed alcohol. And there is a class action lawsuit that's been going on for a while now against the producers of acetaminophen.
Mm-hmm.
So these ladies that are downing all this Tylenol, they're just doing major damage to themselves.
Well, let me tell people. Let me just recap that real quick, okay? Because this is crazy, Steve.
Sure.
I talked about this earlier in the show. So they came out with this finding about Tylenol and autism earlier this week, right? And the president was pretty firm about it.
During pregnancy.
During pregnancy. And it wasn't just President Trump and Dr. Oz and Bobby Kennedy. They had 2 other doctors were there, studies from Johns Hopkins and Harvard and all these stuff, the top research. There's a group of women who have been making TikTok videos who are very pregnant, who are downing Tylenol like crazy to defy Trump. And these, I mean, if you're downing Tylenol just to spite Trump in your pregnancy, you got to be an unfit mom. I mean,
you're a sick puppy.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it. And they're making these videos and putting them online. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, stick around. The best is yet to come.
It is. All right, yeah. All right, caller. Is that all you had?
Yeah, the reason why I know this is because 20 years ago, I worked with a woman whose husband was a CFO, and he collapsed at a board meeting, and he needed a new liver, and they said it was because of the Tylenol he was taking.
Oh, my.
So she's the one that told me about the class action lawsuit. Yeah. She said that it's going to take so long that she won't see the results of it, but her children might. Because it's going to take 50 years, she told
All right. Well, I appreciate the call. All right, you take care. All right. Let's see. Let me squeeze another call or two in. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Steve. How are you? I got to tell you, Brian, I'm getting more and more concerned about. I consider this a security lapse that we saw yesterday at the United Nations.
No doubt.
We're in a place where you know the president's going to be on that escalator at the podium speaking, and the teleprompter doesn't work. I mean, what is this stuff? If this had been a SEAL team on a mission or doing something, anybody who was involved in these lapses, who didn't double check all these things, would have been off the team. We have a large pool of special ops people who are very good at what they do. I think could easily transition into being Secret Service people. It's probably an easy transition for them. We've got to get better protection for our president. And this is following Charlie Kirk getting assassinated just a few days ago, and
I think the Secret Service is useless. I mean, what we really need.
Yeah.
Is,
well, I mean, but don't you think Trump knows that?
Yeah.
Well,
why isn't he saying so? I can't imagine him letting it go on that way.
Steve, no, I'm telling you, he is. I mean, he can't be.
Well, how do you account for his not addressing that in public?
He has, and Caroline Leavitt was on Jesse Waters, plenty pissed last night, saying that they're investigating everything that happened yesterday, and they're gonna make sure that justice is done.
Yeah, we had this. This is a just miss in Butler, Pennsylvania. The incident at the golf course that you did with your documentary in that. Mm-hmm. Now, even at the United Nations in our country, following the assassination of Charlie Kirk, we can't even make sure the escalators are working, the teleprompter's working. The president's got to have maximum
I know
protection.
A lot of people think I'm overreacting, but I talk this. See, I didn't realize this when I was younger. When I talk about Dr. Appleton, he's rid me of pain 3 times from my shoulders. All of those are from falls that I've taken. Right. Okay, and these were not big. I didn't fall off the ladder, off the roof. One of them, I tumbled off my skateboard into the grass. When you're older, you hurt. If you're on an escalator and you get that jerk stop, you could fall back.
Oh, yeah.
And escalator steps are hard metal. They might be steel, and they're sharp. You go back and you hit, and he's got the Kevlar vest on. His suit might be Kevlar lined. So he's got a lot of weight on him, on top of Melania and his own body weight, going back on sharp metal. That could have been an assassination yesterday.
Absolutely.
And I'm not kidding. It's not funny.
The whole thing is scary.
Well, did the president have better protection at Charlie Kirk's memorial service than he did at the United Nations? I think he did. I mean, what is this? I mean, this has got to be the number one priority, to protect the president at all costs.
I honestly believe all U.S. funding and support of the United Nations should immediately be frozen until these conspirators are brought to justice. Listen, there was an article.
Do you think that's going to happen? Is that going to be the ultimate outcome of this?
Caroline Leavitt said they're not going to stop until they find who was behind this.
Well, you saw the president twice say somebody's in big trouble, and he was leaving. I think he was looking at somebody in the crowd. I'm not sure. It looked like he was looking at somebody.
He didn't know about the microphone problems. They had 2 problems with the microphone. He didn't even know about that at the time.
Yeah, who's that? The girl on Fox was the one who mentioned that. That's all supposed to be checked out, and this is supposed to be a smooth operation. Like I said, SEAL Team 6 would not put up with these, what do they call them, hiccups? No way. It's got to be maximum security.
That the Secretary of the War Department should be charged with putting together an elite team to protect the president and the cabinet. Because this is BS. I mean, what happened yesterday. On top of the fact that he was stationary, which also put him at risk.
Yes. Yeah. And a lot of people in that assembly were not our good friends either. And this is like a kind of an embarrassing situation when some of these guys are there talking in the audience there. We got a lot of guys who are fantastic. I think we could put a tremendous team together, and it would be a lot of people would volunteer for that to be on that. This Secret Service, the one in Butler was I mean, really, a disaster. This is it's got to improve.
But look, I told this to a caller earlier. The golf course guy that was convicted yesterday. The Secret Service, and if you guys watch my documentary on my YouTube channel where I stood where the assassin stood, he was not hiding. That's bull crap, especially in that bright pink shirt that he was wearing.
Right.
The Secret Service agent that saw him fired 5 rounds and missed 5 times. Come on.
Oh my God.
Who are these guys in the Secret Service? I think they got the guy from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas there on the detail. That resource officer. I mean,
the guy hiding under the staircase. Yeah. I think we still have an SAS guy, Craig Head. He's very, very good. This guy. I'm not sure if he's still on the team. We got to have our best guys there. We got to have our best guys protecting the president.
The British.
Yes, the guy that was in that terrorist attack and he's rescued like hundreds of people out of the hotel in Mumbai or something like that. He was sensational. I think his name is Craig Head. Very top-notch SAS guy. We need guys like that, guys that will protect the president at all costs. And you're telling me they can't even check the escalator, can't check the teleprompter,
and they're trying to blame our guy. They're trying to blame Trump's staff for the teleprompter and the escalator. Don't believe that. I got a call early this morning from he's seen the video. It was the camera. Really, where's the video? Just like with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk said black people can't fly planes. I've seen the video. Yeah, bullcrap. There's no video of that. That's their new thing. They've seen the video, but you don't see it, right? No, this even if it was a prank, even if they were just immature liberal pranksters, okay, it still was the president was at risk. And they tried to embarrass him with the teleprompter and the microphone and then potting up. I talked about the other day, the board op we have at the radio station now, Mike. We've had a lot of board ops on this show. He's the only board op we've had since I was the board op. But he's the only board op we have that hasn't sabotaged us. And I used to tell you guys, the technical people can sabotage a show in ways you wouldn't even know you were being sabotaged until it's over. You know what I mean? And even if it was prankster sabotage yesterday, okay, there still needs to be somebody needs to be arrested. That was a plot. That was a conspiracy.
Absolutely. We are not going to put up with this nonsense. Anything's going to jeopardize the president's
I don't know if
Pam
Pam Bondi and Kash Patel do they know how to arrest people in Bongino?
Well, I thought so, but like you said, that thing with the governor of Utah took over the press conference and Kash Patel was marginalized. I said, come on.
Yeah, that was really wimpy. All right, we're out of time. I appreciate the
all right, guys. Thank you very much.
Right. Yeah, so I got this big medical appointment after the show today. I'll be telling everybody about it coming up tomorrow, later this week, or next week, and I'll tell you about it later today, Steve. But
can't wait.
Oh, I can't either. It's when you get older, you got to start taking care of business. You know what I mean? That happens.
That's true.
It happens. What are you going to do? All right. Listen, you're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane, of course, is here. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years. And if things go well at the doctor today, 49 more. If not, well, we'll see. See you tomorrow at 6 a.m. God bless. Charlie Kirk. All right, guys, I got my appointment I got to go to, so I can't do the extra afterwards. I'm barely going to make it as it is. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. And, guys, please like the video and share the video on your social. If each of you in the chat room right now could get 2 or 3 of your friends to subscribe and follow the program, can you imagine? How big we could have this community. So if you could share on your socials, that'd be great too. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you later.